just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar. What a weekend of rugby league. Guys, huge announcement next week on Monday. Brand new Grumpy Coffee blend, only made for Father's Day. Got a brand new design as well on the package as well. So that's next Monday. They will be going live. Grumpy Coffee, a blend for Father's Day. It's also packaging, has world's greatest dad on it. Get it for the old man. He will be absolutely stoked with this coffee at grumpycoffee.com.au. Also for Father's Day, we'll be doing a Bloke merch on sale. Bloke undies, slides, thongs and stubby holders. It'll be on discount, and there'll also be deals to bundle them for Father's Day. So set your alarm for next Monday, 6 p.m. for both things, whether it comes to Grumpy Coffee's new blend, which is just for Father's Day, or the in regards to the Bloke merch that will be bundled and sold. Anyway, Root, how you going, brother?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Very good. Hey, you know what? Feels good. Feels good to be asked how I am. Yeah, I'm going pretty well, mate. Thanks.
That's
appreciate
good to
it. You know?
That feels my cup.
Yeah, I like that. Timmy, how you going, mate?
Yeah, I'm well, thanks, mate. Had the weekend down at Perisher on the slope, so just clear the head coming into the business end of the season, almost finals time, so ready to rock.
Hammy, how you going, mate?
I'm very well. Did you do what you wanted to do down there at Perisher Blue this weekend?
I did,
You did?
mate, yeah, thanks.
Fantastic. Good to hear.
Marketing's working.
Yeah.
Give him a raise.
That is a good marketing. What was that, 20-odd years ago?
Yeah.
And we're still rattling it off now.
What a throwback.
Surely they've still got a job. Something like royalties or something.
I'd hope
Person
so.
come like that.
Put your feet up after coming up with a campaign like that.
Well, what's like what's some? You know what's always stuck in my head for like the last 1,000 years is the Banana Boat song from Sunscreen.
100%.
Like whoever came up with that is the GOAT.
It's also a line ball, like if you walk past it and you're at the beach and, you know, even if it's a couple of bucks more than the other option, I'm still getting the Banana Boat.
Of course I'm getting the Banana Boat. I got to respect that song.
What that baby's up to these days with the very deep voice.
Anyone know where the Banana Boat baby is?
Reach out.
Reach out. Shout out to the Banana Boat baby. Hope you've had a good life, mate.
Probably retired very early, I reckon.
Yeah, I'd say so. Royalties, surely.
Yeah.
Unless the parents took all the money,
Well,
which that's a bad
I
story.
met the, quite recently, actually, I'm trying to think, it might have been one of Maddie's mates. I met the LJ Hooker ad. You remember the girl who hugged the little teddy bear?
Yes.
I met the LJ Hooker girl, so a similar sort of vein, yeah. It was,
What's she up
got
to?
a photo, got an autograph, all those good things. So
What's she doing? Did she go into real
real
estate?
Playbook listener, came to our catch up last year. I was like, that is fantastic.
That's so
she's,
good.
she's kicking goals, as you can imagine.
Yeah, nice.
You know, one of the great videos is this dude, he's in a pub, and there's a normal dude standing there, and he starts talking, and guess who it is? It's the guy that goes, EA Sports in the game.
Wow.
Could you imagine meeting him? Anyway.
When I was a teacher, I had a kid in my class, and her dad was Dougie the Pizza Boy. Remember those old ads?
Dougie the
Still looked
Pizza
exactly
Boy.
the same, too.
Oh, that's so good.
Completely unverified, but my final one before we move on. One of my good mates is from Cootamundra out in the bush, and he claims to be the kid at the corner store in Shannon Knowles. What about me in the video?
Wow.
Oh, what about the old darling that I just want milk to taste like real milk?
Yeah.
Where's she? What do you reckon? She's still hanging around? Surely.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen her lately.
Hopefully
but-
still kicking.
Hopefully.
Strong bones, all that milk.
Guys, the Bloke Club, we're giving away Musashi gift package right now, and the winner is Dave Berryman. We'll contact you. That's all thanks to Musashi. Guys, we give away prizes every single month to the Bloke Club. Thanks to Aspley Mazda, we gave away a Mazda BT50. Thanks to Luke Camilleri. Give him a follow on his Instagram. The Bloke Pack right now, you can get 15% off services if you live in Southeast Queensland, plus a special discounted deal on new and used cars. Give Lukey a message. He's the best in the business, LD__01. All right, let's face the music, brought to you by Sportsbet.
Say it slowly, Hammy.
Oh, my God.
Sniffing his own fluffs already.
Oh,
Haven't
my
started.
God, bro. He had nearly 3 weeks with nothing.
Yeah. You still owe us 3 nudie runs. Still waiting for
literally.
those, mate. So whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Whenever you're ready, mate.
But all right, let's get into it.
Yeah.
All right. So Thursday night, what a game this was. Panthers 18 defeated by Storm 22. Now, all of us here like the Panthers, except for old Splinters Guru over there, who for the first time in Face the Music history backed the game to go to Golden Point, which happened. $13. Credit where it's due. Well played.
I'm the real victim here. It was a good game, but it's not as exciting when you know what's going to happen. Right?
Oh, my God. That makes me sick.
How long have you been working on that line, mate?
$13.
Yeah.
3 days.
$13 over the last month. Pretty much.
It's more than I've got.
Yeah, it actually is. But if you're so smart, what was going to happen in the next game, right? Because Warriors 14 defeat the Dragons 10. Just before this, I'm sorry, like with the greatest respect to Warriors fans, right? It's the worst top four side I can remember.
Mate.
I'm sorry.
Warriors fans.
With the greatest respect.
No. Warriors fans, let's just say they're not the...
Yes, they are.
They're
They
not
are
the most
opinions.
calm and collected when it comes to
Yeah,
criticism
well,
of their side.
sometimes they need a bit of honesty. But they limped over the line, 14 points to 10 against the Dragons.
Look, it wasn't the prettiest win.
Was not the prettiest win.
Yes.
No way. Tough watch. So only Matty collected points here. He had the Dragons plus 4.5.
That's
Never in doubt. Bad beat for Timmy, who had the Wires minus 4.5. So missed out by
Devastating.
by half a point there. On to the next game. Little bit of an upset as far as the betting market was concerned. The Chooks 32 defeat the Dogs 12. Denon, you had the Chooks head to head. Matty had the Chooks plus 2.5. Timmy, Chooks 13 plus $5.50.
Wow.
They're looking good. The Chooks. So before this week, on Friday at 7:59 p.m, they were $41 to win the comp. They are now $18 to win the comp.
Wow.
So that 8th spot is theirs to lose, but they're playing some good footy.
Yep, absolutely.
Might have to play the Warriors week 1 as well. So
$5 is pretty good for you.
Needed it.
Yeah.
Big time.
Righto, Guru, so damn it. All right, Sharks 54 defeat Titans 22. For some reason, a few of us like the Titans. I don't know what we were thinking there. We got what we deserved. Well done to Timmy and Matty. You had the Sharkies minus 11.5. We go on to the Broncos 38 defeat the Dolphins 28. Denon, myself and Matty, we all took the Broncos head-to-head for $1.68.
So you've been bagging me about head-to-head bets, and you both took it.
$1.68 is very different to $1.20 or $1.19.
40 cents.
Yeah, that's quite a difference. Anyway, I'll take my $1.68 and move on to Souths 20 defeat the Eels 16. Big upset, particularly with no Latrell as well. Credit to Souths for getting the win there. Matty had the Souths plus 3.5. Roo, you had Souths 1 to 12, $3.30. Putting together quite a nice little weekend here. Then we go on to Sunday. Tigers 26 end Manly season 12. At Twalion Stadium, as they're now calling it, after the game yesterday. Points are plenty here for the panel. Matty had the Tigers plus 5.5 for $1.90. Myself and Denon had the Tigers head-to-head for $2.60. Roo and Timmy, Tigers 13 plus $6.25.
Oh, my God, bro. What?
Big week of moving and shaking. And then to round us out, Cowboys 38 defeat the Knights 4. Timmy and Matty had the Cows minus 6.5. They're the only points in that game. One of the biggest poo slingers of the year. Well done, those Cowboys. Round 24, the results. It is the biggest week, Roo. After Roo texted me and asked me to check if it was the biggest result in a one-off week of Face the Music, $22.55.
Oh, my God.
Well done. You leap all the way from third to third. Timmy, $15.55. That's probably the second biggest week we've almost had, I'd say. Matty, $13.08. Denon, $6.54. And myself, $4.28. But I've still got 3 rounds to go of the regular season. Overall, Matty, $206.63. Denon, $202.72. Roo, $163.20.
He's nearly there.
me. Still ages away.
You're nearly there, bro. Just keep...
3 or 4 more golden points, mate. You're right back in
you'll
the
be
mix.
there.
I've got some, don't worry.
Timmy, $154.50. Daylight. Then myself, $144.27. So that's where we're sitting at the end of round 24.
Okay, there it is. The Face of Music. Give us a follow on the feed. Give Hammy a follow on the feed.
Please do.
Get around this. All right, on to the next segment. Code Story of the Week. Go to codesports.com.au/bloke. Use code bloke to get your discount for Team Up. What story have we got this week?
I reckon there'll be a couple of stories this week. We've got Daly Cherry Evans playing his 350th, but I think I saw online that some fans have already started a petition to have him axed this week. Things are turning sour very quickly for DCE at Manly. I mean, if you're a Tigers fan, there might be some interesting team selections this week as well. That's one to watch out for. I reckon diving's going to be a hot topic this week. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, plenty to watch out for this week as we get to the pointy end of the season. Canterbury, I reckon, will be a talking point as well. Have they got the wobbles? They've got a really, really tough run home. So they're playing almost a mini final series before the final series. So take your pick.
Yeah, I'll tell you more about these interesting Tiger selections.
Okay. So they have a really good group of young kids coming through. There is obviously the guy who is the jewel of that Pathways crown now that Galvin is gone, and that's Hamasi Maxini.
Yes.
Schoolboy rugby sensation. Look, he's still in Year 12. He goes to Newington, so he's got, HC trials and the HC coming up and the rest of it. But importantly, he's just played his last game in the GPS rugby tournament.
Yep.
So I reckon, because Stafford Toa might be under a bit of an injury cloud. So, look, the club are very careful about blooding him too soon. He's already had a whole bunch of press. I reckon Tigers fans would be excited to see him, but we all know that, Tigers fans and NRL fans are in general, and there's a ruthless in general, and there's always that risk of blooding a teenager too early. He's only just turned 18 as well at the end of July. So, look, I don't know whether it's as soon as this week or whether he gets a game in the next couple of weeks. But by all accounts, he is been doing well at training in New South Wales Cup. They elevated him to New South Wales Cup in the last few weeks just to give him some game time against men, as the cliche goes.
Yeah.
And apparently he's handled himself well. I've spoken to the couple of boys at training about him, and they all just physically, they think he's got the capabilities to play NRL as soon as this year. But I guess it all just depends on how Benji wants to manage his introduction to the NRL, because there will be a lot of fanfare around him.
Yeah, well, maybe they've got the Cowboys this week, the Tigers.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Leichhardt. So he would be on Toa's side. They're opposite Purdue. So, maybe physically, maybe that's not a bad matchup. Quite young as well. Obviously, he's been playing some good footy, but, a lot of hype around him. Be exciting as a Tigers fan to see him. Yeah,
absolutely. I don't know whether... it almost feels like the natural progression in his development this year. Obviously, mathematically, the Tigers are still in with a chance.
Absolutely.
So when I had spoken to someone at the Tigers about this a couple of weeks ago, when I had started hearing the rumours, their thought was if that mathematical chance wasn't there, then he was more likely to be blooded quite quickly. But maybe that changes because of the fact they're on a bit of a roll at the moment. But definitely one to keep an eye on.
Do you think, Hammy, as a Tigers fan and sort of taking the cynical view on it, but do you think the worst thing that the Tigers could do with their history of retaining young talent is him coming out this weekend, put on a masterclass, all over the papers? Not that every club and recruitment officer wouldn't be aware of him already, but then it just becomes a whole off season of just chatter around his future and all that? Or do you like to see him have a go and have a run?
Yeah, that's an interesting hypothetical. Obviously, we haven't got a great track record of players getting popped in the shop window and then keeping hold of them. But I don't know. Hopefully we can just, if he does get a run, glass half full sort of stuff. There was a bit of chat going around at the game yesterday about the lineup of the team next year, and that he might... they were talking about, there was a bit of chat about maybe Skelton missing out on a spot there. That's how good this guy is.
Something's got to give,
It's
right?
had so many scars in it. That was fun.
and Skelton, he's done okay. Maybe he can find a big hit in defence, but sometimes his defensive reads aren't amazing. But look, all of a sudden Benji has a pretty good problem on his hands.
Yep. I'm hopeful if we do give him a crack, one of these kids is just going to thank Benji for the opportunity. Anyway, how are those blokes going that left the club? Not going so good anyway, so enjoy them.
But the sad thing is, I'm sorry to rub it in, but I genuinely could see him coming out and killing it, and then by the time we get to about, January next year, all of a sudden agitating for releases in there.
Who's his manager?
That's what we need to find out first.
Is it...
Mario.
Okay.
Mario Tyson.
Oh, he brought the Fainu brothers.
Yeah,
he brought the Fainu brothers across. So
get him out there. That's plenty. And sign all his brothers if he's got any.
Do you have any insight on where the NRL is with this whole diving situation? And I say diving situation, it's been around for years, so it's not new, but it's been brought to the forefront over the weekend.
Look, the NRL doesn't take a very, it takes a dim view of it, and at the start of the year, it did sort of reiterate that it was going to have a focus on diving or simulation or whatever you want to call it. At the time, it was sort of more about the diving and the simulation that you see in like block plays for obstruction as opposed to, you know, the blockers and the rest of it. But the reality is it's crept into all parts of the game, right? Like we're seeing it in terms of head-high contact, you know, like, you know, staying down to try and get the bunker to look at it. We're seeing it in terms of those block play obstructions. There was one with Mitch Moses against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And maybe by the letter of the law, like he didn't do anything wrong. You know, Harry Grant on the weekend. Again, you know, if you look at the drone footage and break it down, you see Moses Leota taking, you know, a 5 centimetre step sideways and all of a sudden, you know. So look, I think it's an interesting talking point, but I sometimes think about it, like the NRL can say, okay, we're going to look at this, and then that puts the onus on the referees to do something about it. But it's very hard for the referee to make that judgment call on the run. And so I don't know whether if the referee suspects simulation or diving, you stop the play, you let the bunker look at it. But again, you're having somebody decide somebody's intention. I mean, maybe it's more, why don't we just put more accountability on the players? You know,
the only thing is like the players, when they're doing it, they're not thinking about, like, if they were just thinking about themselves and their own ego, they wouldn't dive because they're just like, man, that's soft.
Yeah.
But most players are like, I'm willing to look soft to get the win for my my club. I just think the problem is it's a race to the bottom, and you saw what's happened with soccer where it's just gone like so far gone that they just can't do anything about it. I think like back in the day we used to have like societal norms about honour and integrity that stopped that from happening, about toughness. Now society is more about just get the win at whatever the cost to a degree. So I think the NRL just has to, we're going to have some growing pains, but I think the NRL has to just create an environment where, like for example, if you stay down and you didn't get hit in the head, you should be penalised. Like I don't care, like it should be that simple. If we can clearly see it's across here and you're holding your head, you should be penalised. The Harry Grant one, it's different because that was a penalty regardless of whether you fell over. But the ones where you can clearly see, especially the head-high ones where they don't even get hit in the head, I think that should be an automatically penalty. So I just think the NRL just need to create almost an environment of fear to players of like, if you do this, there's going to be big consequences.
It's a good point, right? Because we used to have the biff, and then all of a sudden the rule was a line in the sand rule. If you even, you know, well, Spencer, we saw Spencer thinking about punching someone and he got sin bin. But as in, it instantly almost took the punch out of the game.
Yep.
Because players knew that if they threw that punch, they were going to the bin. There was no shades of grey about it. It was a black and white rule.
Yep.
So, look, there's people pushing for this idea that if you stay down, essentially, right, like the independent doctor, that's one of the indicators that they look at to say this person's got to come up for a HIA, whether it's category 1, category 2 or the rest of it. So if you're willing to be taken off the field for 15 minutes to maybe win your side an advantage or a penalty, maybe that stops it, or maybe the penalty stops it. But, so when we talk about stuff like that, I always go back to the punching and how we were actually very quickly and very successfully able to get rid of punching in the game by introducing the element of fear, by saying this is a black and white rule, you do this, you go into the bin.
Well, I'll tell you what, if the first person to get done for that will be so embarrassed that I promise you the knock-on effect will be like, you know what? And I don't mean like if you get clipped in the chin and you're like getting up slowly holding your chin, that's very different to the whole carry on, I'm not moving until you show the replay kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Look, I know as I said, I know there's going to be growing pains and I know it's not a great look, but I just know the end result of this, it'll make the game unbearable. Like there's a lot of times I watch soccer and I go, I can't watch this. This is honestly embarrassing what's happening. And unfortunately with league, it'll eventually get to that point if we don't stop it right now, in my opinion. Any quick thoughts on that before we end?
No, I'm with you. I reckon penalty, and for like bad ones, I reckon even get the sin bin out.
Yeah, I wouldn't have, just to put fear in everyone's heart. Like imagine
it's a professional foul.
Yeah.
Trying to essentially like milk a complete penalty that's not there. Yeah, if you get found out doing that, get in the bin.
Imagine being the first bloke walking off the field and you've just got done for diving.
Yeah.
You would never live. You'd have a whole crowd looking at you going, you soft. You know, it would just, you'd be so embarrassed. Anyway, thanks so much for that, guys. Make sure to go to codesports.com.au/bloke. Use your code. Plenty of stories this week, so make sure to stay tuned. And thanks to Fatima for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Cool.
Alrighty, it's time for our Hungriest player, brought to you by Menulog. And the hungriest player this week is, and there was few to choose from, but it was the big fella, White from the Roosters, a front rower, scoring a double. He is our hungriest player on the weekend. Use code WHYTE, WHYTE, for free delivery. And our hungry local shout-out goes to Pepper Jack, serving impressively large, delicious sandwiches across Brisbane. If you want to get free delivery on your local legends, just use code WHITE on Menulog this week. But, I mean, boys, we kind of, I guess, we tepidly were like, he's moving into the top tier early in the year, and then we got to about midway, and we're like, okay, he's probably in the top 5. I mean, right now he's pushing into I'll say top 5, but you could argue he's top 3 or 4 front rowers in the game right now. That's how much he's improved. And what is he, 23 years old?
23.
23 years old. He has been absolutely phenomenal, and just the physicality that he's brought to his game is almost second to none. He has just been so good. To think he's only 23 years old, and on the weekend, you looked at what was the big difference between the Bulldogs and the Roosters, and it was the fact that they got a guy like White who was just too big, too powerful through the middle for the Bulldogs to handle. He was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure when he was coming through the grades only a couple of years ago, he's only 23, I think he was playing on the edge too, so it's not like he's an out-and-out middle. I think he's just turned himself into that. And when we sat there at the start of the season doing our season previews, JWH was gone. Terrell May had walked out the door, and you just sort of went, what are the Roosters doing?
Yep. They must have known somehow, some way.
I'd love to know if they knew he was going to be this good.
Yeah,
I think he's exceeded all expectations. I had my concerns at the start of the year that he had a few errors in his game and a few key missed tackles at different parts throughout last year. But I think he's cleaned a lot of that up, the vast majority of that up, and he's just put the Roosters on their back and gone, I'll be the alpha. I'll be the guy.
And what's crazy as well, at the start of the year, fair dinkum. Let's get in the fair dinkum department. He would have been worth about 400, you reckon?
Yeah.
What would you pay for him now? Long-term deal.
Yeah, probably 7s.
I'd probably pay 8, honestly.
Yeah.
What would you pay for him now?
Yeah, probably 7, but I wouldn't. I think he'd get 8. Put it that way.
What do you reckon, Hammy?
Yeah, I'd say similar, somewhere in that 7 to 8 ballpark.
He is just...
New teams coming in, they'll probably throw a bit of cash at him, you'd imagine.
But I just think that when it comes to big men that can play like that, it's very few people.
Yeah.
Very few people.
Well, he's the power he showed for, I think it was the second try on the weekend, that muscling your way to the try line like that, that's something that so few forwards can do in the NRL, where they essentially just go, all right, I'm bigger, stronger, more athletic, and I'll power my way to the try line. Not talking, backs and playmakers and all that sort of stuff, but to do it through the middle of the field against top 4 opposition, we've seen him do this a few times this year in Fahu White. It's like the David Fafita ability, where he goes, when he wants to muscle his way to the try line, he can just do it because he's too powerful. Naf White's done it a few times this year. I even look at Payne Haas, Tino Malawi, they've got it in themselves at times, and I'm not saying Naf White is a better footballer than those two, but you don't see them two power their way to the line as well as Naf White's done on numerous occasions.
Well, his legs and glutes and that are friggin' massive.
I think just on that too, Vegas, not this year, it was last year, Roosters were there, right? And I remember Trent Robinson in his press conference before their first game was talking about how Spencer Leniu was going to start that game. And he was saying that he's looking at Spencer to be the guy after JWH to lead this forward pack. So I remember him having that conversation, Spencer had just arrived, and me sort of thinking, geez, I don't know if Spencer's going to be a starter realistically. So even thinking back to what Robbo said there, that sort of says to me that maybe they didn't realise White had this sort of ability. I think you fast forward a year later and they're willing to let Terrell May go. I think by that point they'd probably realised. But I think 2 years ago, even the Roosters didn't think he was going to be the real alpha in this side.
Yeah.
Like Lindsay Collins, Spencer Leniu, they're both out-and-out Origin players.
Yeah,
they're one of the first picks for both their sides at the moment. But he's the guy.
He's the main guy.
Pack.
Yeah. I mean, last weekend, it's one of the rare opportunities where you saw a game against the Dolphins turn old school and see what players are actually old school. And White showed any era of rugby league, he's going to handle that. And last week, he was phenomenal. And just the mental calmness to keep... Because that what was so special about White, what he did. What Spencer Leniu did was great, but it was all just about going crazy. Whereas what White did in that fire was stay calm but still dominate. And that's a special talent to have. White is our hungriest player. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Make sure to use code WHITE for free delivery. Shout out goes to Pepper Jack, serving impressively large delicious sandwiches across Brisbane. All right, it's time for the Grumpy Team of the Week, guys. Don't forget, next Monday, We've got all new blend just for Father's Day, limited edition. Once they're gone, they're gone. Get this for your father. It's got World's Greatest Dad, a unique design on the front of it. It's next Monday, guys, at 6 p.m. Will be available. All right, team of the week, Walsh at the back, Tupou on the edge, on the wing, Coates on the other wing, Staggs and Taylor May in the centres. We put Hines at 6, and before the show, we've drawn a line in the sand and said, even though he plays 7 and everyone else calls him 7, we're just going to call him a 6 from now on. So
call
he's
a spade a spade.
Call a spade a spade. He's 6 in the team of the week. At 7, we got Sam Walker. 8, White. 9, Grant. 10, Haas. 11, Tallis Duncan. Holy moly, he's gotten good. 12, Radley. 13, Leoro. 14, Jai Gray. 15, Arrow. 16, Terrell May. And 17, Adam Dewey. Okay, it's time for the Kayo Can't Miss moment of the week. And the Kayo Can't Miss moment for me was Reece Walsh's performance. And we spoke about it last week, about making decisions about what kind of player he needs to be, about how he needs to kind of calm his mind and lock in and focus. And I reckon from the first time he touched the ball on the weekend, you could tell he still had the high energy, but far more focused. His mind was far more settled down. He took 3 runs for his first carries, and then the game completely opened up to him. That's the Reece Walsh that you can build a club around. That's the Reece Walsh that can take the Broncos from where they are now to back to where a lot of people think they should be. He was absolutely phenomenal. He was calm. He was collected. His kicking game was really good. He had everything. All his bag of tricks were out on the weekend. I thought Reece Walsh was absolutely phenomenal. And as I said, it's not about talent with Reece Walsh. It's about just getting his mind right off the field. So when he enters into games, he's in a really good headspace. And you could totally tell he wasn't over-energized on the weekend. He wasn't agitated. And don't get me wrong, his high energy is what makes him great. But it's about funneling that in the right direction. I thought Walshy was absolutely phenomenal on the weekend.
Yeah, he was great. I thought as well, along with Reece Walsh, I thought it was the influence that Ben Hunt brought to this side. I think that he really, we've spoken about with Adam Reynolds, that sometimes when they get in a bit disarray, hasn't really grabbed the team by the collar. I thought Ben Hunt did the other night, and I thought Reece Walsh responded perfectly. Yeah,
it's funny, in the halftime conversation with the media, they said to him, how are you liking all the more responsibility? And he said, I don't have more responsibility. I'm just here to do my job and basically alluded to Ben Hunt being the main guy. It is an interesting thing with Renault. Like, he's got this really strange balance with Walshy, because you don't want to be too harsh on him because then you stop him. But at the same time, he does need someone to guide him at times. What do you reckon, Timmy?
Yeah, I think it was literally last week we were speaking about Reece Walsh, and I might have said he has the potential, when he puts everything together, to be the best player in the NRL. And we saw it on the weekend.
Oh, man.
Like, how rounded that performance was. And they were down early and they didn't have a lot of momentum. They were down by maybe 4 or 6 points. He nailed that 40-20, scored a try off the back of it. But just his entire game, from his in-play kicking to his goal kicking to his support play to his toughness in defence, it was just a perfect night where everything that he tried to do came off.
Yeah.
And not just that, but as you said, Kempy, from the moment this game started, he was locked in.
Yeah, you could just tell, just the way he played. The first few, and he ran the ball first. I always think with Walshy, if he's running the ball early, he usually has a really good game. Whereas if he's coming out, and also, like, you still saw the attacking flair, but he was making the right calls. They weren't these 20-metre cutout balls. They were short passes that aren't low percentage, that they're still hard to defend, but you can make those plays. They're not low percentage. And I think with Walshy, it was just... He just looked more focused. He still had all of that energy, but it just looked way more focused. His kicking game, I can't believe how long his boot is. He's got a massive boot on him. So I just thought that's the Walshy that is a superstar, because there are very few fullbacks that have that much range of weapons. Like, that can kick a 40-20, can score a try with the best footwork on the field, but also can throw a 20-metre cutout.
Then go and kick 7 from 8 as well. And it's just like... That's the Reece Walsh that, look, he's not going to do that every week, obviously, but if he can produce 70% of that performance, honestly, 50% of that performance every week, that can deliver premierships.
Yeah, he was just absolutely phenomenal. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, he was unreal, wasn't he? I was going to touch on the 40-20, just how flat and low and hard he kind of probably because he runs onto it a little bit quicker, but he was unbelievable the other day. Easily his best game of the season, so dialed in, and obviously he had to pick up the slack with a couple of injuries there, and maybe it was just that fact that they needed a little bit more creativity and his hands on the ball a bit more because Mam wasn't there as well. Really just brought the best out of him. I thought, unbelievable on the weekend. And the kicking game, that's what really surprised me. A couple of repeat sets as well, a couple of bombs up, and of course, the 40-20, he was awesome.
I will say it's a really good point you make, Rue, is like, and I've spoken about this so many times with the Broncos, like one area where they're probably not as strong as the top tier sides is a really strong leadership group that is behind the try line, pulling him in, making sure he's calm. Because like the tough balance Walsh has to find is like they keep asking him to win games for them, but he's still only 23 years old. So like, how do you keep him reined in whilst also allowing him to be great? And I think Benny Hunt, being not exactly like Walshy, but he's he's willing to take risk, Hunt. So he would understand that mindset of pulling the trigger whenever you want, but at the same time making the right calls. I think it's a good point in regards to Hunt's style of leadership with Renault. And maybe with Hunt back, although Renault can lead the team when it comes to kicking around the park or whatever, maybe that vocal leadership can come from Hunt rather than Renault maybe.
Yeah, I feel like with Ben Hunt, you really saw him take a turn. I think it was after the Jeremy Marshall-King trials, about 5 or 10 minutes into the second half. I think he sprayed them at one point. They were coming out of their own end.
Which you don't see very often at the Broncos.
You don't see it at all.
Yeah.
Like you don't see it. You see it at the end of the game in the last 10 minutes when they're all emotional. During the game, like when they were starting to get away from them. So that's what we were speaking about with Adam Reynolds, how it just feels like this year he's not quite grabbing the team and I need to be kicking the ball. You work around me. I feel like Ben Hunt just grabbed it and he got a positive response out the side.
So Walshy, here's our Kayo Can't Miss moment. Absolutely outstanding. As I said, you could tell from the minute he started playing that game that he was locked in. That's the Walshy that's just going to be unstoppable. Guys, Fox League exclusive games this week. I mean, I'll tell you what, it's Panthers v Raiders on Friday, 6 p.m. Might be one of the best 6 p.m. games on a Friday we've seen in quite a while. Yep. Sea Eagles versus Dolphins, 3 p.m. Saturday. Dolphins playing for their season. Titans v Warriors, 5:30 Saturday. And Knights v Broncos, 2 p.m. Sunday. And the 2025 NRLW season heating up. Cowboys have been in amongst the top 4 after missing out last year, while the Roosters are still undefeated at the top of the ladder. And watch every game live and ad break free during play on Fox League. The T20 series may be over, but the action doesn't stop as Australia and South Africa gear up for an unmissable 3-match ODI series. Watch every ODI match live and ad break free during play only on Fox Cricket. And gear up this weekend for motorsport action on MotoGP returns to Hungary, the new Ballatin Park circuit. Watch every MotoGP qualifying practice and race live and ad break free during from lights out to checkered flag. And also shout out to Jet Lawrence. He won his Pro Cross GP. I don't know. Anyway, it's motorbikes. And he's Australian, and he won. So I just want to say, well done. Him and his brother are killing it, and they don't get enough press in Australia.
Motocross?
Yeah, motocross. Just wait, let me check real quick. I put a post up about it. Jet Lawrence wins Pro Motocross. I was trying to get it right. Pro Motocross with one round early, boys. 1 round early, and his brother came second. And he's young as shit. And no Aussie media talks about it, and he's like essentially going on the path to be a GOAT. Listen, I know sport, guys. I know sport. Alrighty, it's time for Service of the Week, brought to you by Aspley Mazda. And it's in that same game. And this is all thanks to Luke Camilleri, LDC_01. Billy Walters kick for Karapani's try. Billy Walters this year has been like, I don't know about player of the year. They'd probably go to Haas. But he's been easily in their top 3 players this year, I think, the Broncos. He's been one of our most consistent players. And that decision and time, so Reece Walsh goes down the short side. He hits Staggs into either Pakes or Smoothie, I think. Smoothie goes into Walters. Walters has guys around him. You're thinking, okay, he's probably going to pass here. It's going to get shut down. They might score on the next one. The ball's on him to go, nah, I'm hoofing it to the edge. And then to land it exactly where it needed to be. Karapani scores. I don't know if it might have been the clincher. It definitely took them to a point where they were winning, not comfortably, but in a good spot. That's our service of the week. Because you didn't get service much better than that. And Aspley Mazda and Luke Camilleri, that's what they're known for. The best service in the business. As I said, guys, they've got a bloke pack, discount specifically for you, and 15% off services if you live in the Southeast Queensland. Thoughts on Billy Walters, mate?
Yeah, I love the play. And, when you see them put in kicks like that, sort of on the fly, there's all the space in the world. It sort of makes it look easy. But if he overcooks that, if he puts it dead, it flips the whole game.
Yeah, mate.
It goes from, you've made a break, if you would have just gone down, we score on the next play, to 7 tackle set, Dolphins will turn around and go on the other way. Like, it takes a lot of balls. And I think it's something that, as fans, I think we sort of sleep on, just the way that guys are able to sum up an entire field in a split second.
Craziness.
Just the awareness that they have to know
Yep.
where the space should be based on where guys are. I thought it was an incredible play.
Yeah, well, you boys sort of spoke, we chatted about Reece Walsh and Ben Hunt and the impact that they had for the Broncos, but going into this game, the question mark was, all right, a new spine combinations off the back of the injuries last week, how they were going to combine, and Billy Walters was another one that just... Look, he might not have got the headlines across the game and post-game, but like this moment in the game, to come in and combine with Benny Hunt, and especially Billy Walters, who spent a lot of his time in recent years playing as a forward. Like, it's a bloody hard thing to move back into the halves and do these sorts of things. So, Roo summed it up well, but to kick it off balance across field the way he did for Karapani, that was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, mate, so good. What do you reckon, mate?
Great moment, particularly for those of us who had Karapani anytime last night, same game multi. So, well done, Billy.
Well, thanks, Billy. Appreciate it. Brought to you by Aspley Mazda and Luke Camilleri. As I said, guys, give him a follow. He has giveaways all the time. Plus, make sure to follow him because we're going to be doing some cool giveaways very soon. But you've got to be following him. LDC_01. If you need a car, shoot him a message. Best in the business. Okay, round 24 review starts. Panthers v the Storm. It says Golden Point Thriller here, but who gives a shit about the Golden Point, if I'm being honest? Pissed me off.
Ruined it for you on Monday.
Mate, so I've got two things. Like, I got to the point in the game where I was like, okay, I'm not sure who's going to win it, but Storm got down that end. There was 8 minutes to go, and they didn't take the golden point. So it didn't take the field goal, and it pissed me off so much because I knew Roo was sitting there going, yeah, fuck, don't take the fucking point. Pissing me off. Anyway.
That's how he texted me at the same time going, what are they doing? I go, let it play out. It's good game management.
Good game management. Anyway, Storm get the win. Look, I think for both sides, like, for me personally, they have shown in this game that they're just a tier above everyone right now. However, we need to see the Raiders against these guys right now. But I think right now, the Storm and the Panthers shown that level of rugby league with some key players out as well. They're the best two teams in the comp right now. Again, I need to see the Raiders this weekend. And I think both teams can walk away from that going, listen, a few adjustments here or there. We could either won by more or we could have won when you're looking at the Penrith Panthers. I thought they were both really, really good. I thought the Storm, it was the bravest performance easily of the season for them because the Penrith Panthers dominated them for most of the game. For the whole first half, they essentially ran for about 25 metres a set, the Melbourne Storm. They were getting dominant, and then the Panthers were going for 50 metres. At one point in the first half, the Panthers had run for 360 metres compared to the Storm's 150. Like, they were choking the life out of them. And somehow, some way, the Storm just kept hanging on. Doing what Storm do. And that's the one question I've had with the Melbourne Storm. Do they have the same ticker as the Storm we know of the last 20 years? Yes, they do. They pass flying with flying colours. They absolutely do have the ticket to win a premiership this year. This week proved it. I thought they were outstanding.
Yeah, I think the Raiders can compete with these two sides, but if that's what we're going to get when we're missing Pappenhausen, Hughes and Yo, one hell of a final series incoming.
Far out.
And like a huge win as far as the competition goes as well, as far as, the Melbourne Storm, obviously they're trying to lock up that top two finish, but if I'm Melbourne, I don't want Penrith in that top four.
Yeah, fair.
Like that's what knocked them down to fifth place.
Yep.
The Warriors, they got 3 games to come. They've got 3 games that I think they'll be favourites in. Realistically, 3 games they should win, the Warriors. As long as they keep winning, hopefully they can keep Penrith and at least make them go the long way around. Yeah,
it's a great point because nearly all of those top 4 sides, we just need Penrith out of here just so that give them at least chances possible to get that second.
Ideally, if you end up, I don't know how it's all going to play out, but if you got Penrith outside of the top 4, there's a chance that you send them to New Zealand in week 2. Or they have to go play Canterbury, a full house there. It's a tough, as it always is every year, but this year in particular, the long way around, you might even have to go to Canberra or a Melbourne. It's going to be brutal.
What do you reckon, Timmy?
Yeah, what an unbelievable game of footy this was. And the finish to it, we'll get to the controversy shortly, but I was on the way to the Snowy Mountains watching this in the KFC car park in Goulburn, big Merino in the background. It was absolute scenes down there. And just as I said, the ramifications of the controversial decisions for what you just summed up in that if Penrith make the top 4, they're probably premiership favourites. If they don't, it just changes the whole landscape of the NRL final series. Had they have won this, all right, there's probably every chance they do finish top 4. Now you look at sort of the Warriors drawing the run home, whether or not they can sort of bounce back from some down form and win a few, but they've got a really soft draw, so it's massive. The Melbourne Storm, they haven't been doing it pretty. They were very good against the Broncos, but that was losing both their halves early on in the game, but they're finding ways to win. And look, I think they've been good without being great, But as I said, at the end of the day, you win games of footy, that's all that matters. And they're scraping home a lot of times in tight affairs, and this was another one.
Yeah, I just think they showed so much guts. Like watching that game, the first half, I honestly thought, okay, this might even be a 13-plus win from the Panthers, just by how much they were. Like the Storm couldn't get any roll on out of their end. Like they were getting absolutely jammed in defence. But they come out in the second half. I think their first set, they run for 60 metres. And what's funny is then the next set, they ran for 25. But that was their first kind of like sniff of like, okay, boys, like we've hung in there. So I wonder whether, did Penrith front load their energy a bit too much? I'm not sure. Are they going to build into a finals run where they've sorted out that second half and their energy levels are just as good? I guess we'll see. But what do you think of the match, Hammy?
Yeah, unbelievable. Real kind of like finals feel to it already, just the quality of the game and all that sort of thing as well. Storm, when you're winning, gritty like that, that's a really good sign. Obviously still missing quite a few players, and quite a few guys had to play out of position, or they test their depth a little bit as well, which was quite pleasing. I know we'll single some guys out later, but, the new halves combo, Pezzett, I thought was very impressive, but a great win. And I reckon, but we're going to see this matchup, if not twice, at least once again this year, you'd imagine. Yeah, potential grand final preview.
I will say, like, if they land outside the top 8, the Panthers, you don't want to be in a bottom 4 with Broncos and Roosters, because we know, okay, can the Panthers play? Are they much more likely to make a grand final? Absolutely, because we know they can play 4 good games. But the Roosters and Broncos have one really good game in them, just one. And so if you're the Panthers, it's almost like that's an even more reason to not land in that bottom 4, because you're just landing with 2 teams that at their best can potentially beat you. Whereas other years when you've had like that bottom 4 of the top 8, you as a Panthers fan, you would probably go, listen, we'd be pretty sweet here. Like, we can beat most of these sides.
I'm very curious, like, Hammy, I don't know if they can do sort of a mock market for us or something, but Penrith premiership odds come end of season, if they finish 4th or if they finish 5th, and how big a swing that is. Because if they finish 4th, I think they're probably premiership favourites. If they finish 5th, that blows out.
Yeah, it's a tough road, because you'd have to either beat probably either the Broncos or the Roosters, and then either most likely Bulldogs or Raiders, maybe Warriors.
And just the physical toll that's going to take out on them week in, week out, where cut the sides, get a spell, going to prelim final, they have to come up against them if they get that far. Like it,
it's a tough one. And also, got quite a lot of young fellas in the team too. Not that I doubt how good they'll be, because I've got a lot of faith in how good they are, but that is a question. Like the young players, it's first final series or one of the first final series. Anyway, back to the performance. So Panthers, they went 22 from 22. Like, that used to be unheard of, that shit. Like, you never used to see that. Now, in any big game, they do that. It's just like, I can't believe how good they are. It's unbelievable. Anyway, we'll talk about the Storm first, and then we'll get to the Panthers. We'll talk about the big controversial call. I spoke a little bit on Friday, but I'll speak about it again. So a lot of people feel that Harry Grant got the penalty because he dived. But the penalty would have been given regardless, because Leota, you can't be in front. That cone in front of the kicker, you can't be. A new rule got brought in, not the start of this year, but the start of last year, I think, where as a player, no matter what, you cannot stand in front of that when it comes to drop goals. Now, I don't know if I agree with the rule. However, that's just the rule. So that's why the penalty was given. It wasn't actually given because Harry Grant dove. And so I just wanted to make that clear for people. Now, even me saying that, there's still going to be people in the comment section angry at me. That's just the rule, guys. It's like it's that simple. Now, you could say, oh, there's other times when they've been in front or whatever. Fair enough. You might be right, but technically, that's the rule. Do I agree with that? I think that we need to find a middle ground. I think that the idea that you can't have someone there ready to get a pass, I think that's a rule made by someone that might not actually have played footy that much. Because, for example, that was a quick play the ball from Penrith. What if he chose to try to score? Like, what if he chose to go, we got a quick play the ball. I don't want to go for a drop goal. I want to score in the corner. And if Moses Leota had gone, I'm just going to get out of the way, and then the ball gets passed to him, he gets in trouble. So I do think they need to find a middle ground. Now, granted, the rule was brought in because people were taking the piss and literally standing right in front of the kicker. But as I said, although the dive was terrible. That's the rules. That's the rules, unfortunately.
I don't know what else to add.
Yeah.
It's the rule. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's, didn't help that Leota, took that extra step or whatever as well. Like, once again, if I hate the whole diving and all that sort of stuff, but if I'm Craig Bellamy, I'm saying to Harry, run into that.
Absolutely.
You hit the deck. You win this game of football. It's going to get them a home final come finals time. Like,
and also, like, do you know how you stop that dive? Don't be in front of the kicker.
And I think that's the start and end of it for me. If you want that taken away, you got to play by the rules that are set, whether they're ridiculous or not. You got to play by them.
Yeah, Timmy, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I hated it. Look, if that's the rule, so be it. It's not against the refs, the bunker, any of that. If that's the rule, go with it. It just infuriates me. Like, they brought in rules years ago around setting walls and all that to give defenders and in particular markers opportunities to get and charge down the ball, and that was a great move. I think just this particular circumstance as well, just the amount of space between these players, like the space between Moses Leota and the dummy half passing the footy, the space between Moses Leota and Nathan Cleary kicking the ball, the amount of space Harry Grant had to go around Moses Leota, I hate it. No, I think it should have not should have counted because the rule is the rule. But I think they need to fix it because I reckon it's garbage.
Yeah, mate, I'm with you. I think it's garbage too. I think that it's, as I said, made by a person that doesn't understand. Like, why are we just assuming that if there's a drop goal set up that he's definitely getting the ball? Like, that makes no sense. Like, what if they want to play to Leota? What if the whole play is literally dummying to drop, like to do a drop goal and to score?
And just
as well, like we saw 2 weeks ago, like Mitch Kenny threw a ball back 20 metres. Nathan Cleary hits it from 40 out. There was no one in front of Nath at that point.
Yeah.
All right, so with that one, he threw it 20 metres back to him. If it's the same scenario and Leota's there and he's 17 metres off Nathan Cleary but dead in front of him, is this cone stuff where it's a no
Well,
as well?
technically I'd say so, yeah.
That's so shit.
Technically. And so don't get me wrong, the refs don't always call it because they're like, if I'm being honest, I reckon if Leota stepped away from Grant, I reckon he would have let it go. But I think what made it is because he stepped towards him. That kind of made it, okay, I've got to call this. So there's you can actually watch when the Melbourne Storm try to do a field goal, you can see players running out of the way, as in of the guys trying to charge down. But I'm with you, mate. I don't like the rule, but that's just the rule.
Bringing so many rules into our game, trying to take out what should have been a fantastic, finish the game from the Panthers' point of view. And Nathan Cleary, again, icing a game with a brilliant field goal, and we were ripped of that because a technicality in the rule book that I just think is a joke. Fortunately, as it ended up, we got another brilliant finish through Harry Grant, but that doesn't help the Penrith Panthers.
So this is the exact rule. So in the current NRL rules, players must be behind the ball when attempting a field goal. Specifically, players are not allowed to be in front of the kicker or obstruct the path of the ball. If a player is found to be obstructing the kicker, it can lead to penalties, and the NRL has implemented a system where the bunker reviews field goal attempts to ensure compliance with these rules. The rules are to maintain fair play and prevent any form of obstruction during field goal attempts.
Without bringing up another one, this is why I hate that we still have Golden Point. I know this wasn't in Golden Point, but, mate, the shit fight around field goals.
Oh, I hate field goals.
You all tell me how exciting they are, how good they are. Whenever they happen, you all bitch and whine about them for a week,
Mate,
and everything's wrong with it.
I don't like field goals. I've never liked field goals.
You know what was heaps exciting? Harry Grant scoring a try to win the game.
Yeah, mate, I'm with you. Matty can tell you, mate, for the last 5 years I've spoken about this. I never understood with rugby league, and maybe it's because I've come into it later in life. So, something you never do in the game, you decide games by it. Doesn't make any sense to me. Tries are the main point of rugby league, but then when the game gets on the line and you're in the peak moment of it, you go, no, we'll just start kicking. It's weird.
And it's like Harry Grant scores that try because of this rule. Everyone moves out of the way, so everyone's so focused on that field
the golden
goal
point.
kicker.
Yeah.
I don't know. How often do we get a game decided in golden points, a field goal, that there isn't a controversy? The marker was 1 foot offside. This guy wasn't square. This guy was a block. This guy. It's can we just enjoy the moment? Harry Grant, great play.
Yeah.
I think that's what should decide football games.
And you're right. No one, any drop goal, there's always someone offside or not square.
Yep.
Literally every single one, you can find it.
And if I'm a coach, if you're not a little bit offside, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing? Anyway.
You know they're not going to call it. You know they don't want to decide these games. Push the limits.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So, guys, as I said, don't necessarily agree with it. I think we all don't really agree, unless anyone does agree with that rule. Not really. Don't necessarily agree with it, but it is the rule. The players are aware of it. You just cannot be in that cone in front of the picker. Just step out of it. And yes, I know there are times when that hasn't happened. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. Just seen on the weekend, on Friday, I was like, guys, don't shoot the messenger, but this is the rule. And there is just hundreds of comments going, you're fucking kidding, can't be right. I'm like, bro, I'm just explaining what the rule is. Anyway, in regards to performances from the Storm perspective, I mean, Harry Grant was great, but I just like Coates. This guy, it's the first time, and maybe there has been another time, but it's genuinely the first time I can remember where Toto has been clearly outplayed by his opposition, which is a compliment to Toto. That's how good he is. But I've never seen it before. And Coates it's the first time it's happened. That's how good Toto is, but that's also how good Coates is playing right now, which is phenomenal. Now, I'm not saying he's anywhere near Toto's level in regards to legacy and blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying that's how good Coates is going at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like reading through some of my DMs and stuff on Thursday night, people going, best winger of all time, bullshit.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, mate, you've been waiting 4 years for someone to out-jump him, and he's fucking 5'7". What are we talking about?
Come on. Let's just relax on that whole chat. Like, he absolutely is one of the best wingers of all time.
But Coates, and we'll get to Daniel Tupou a little bit later in the week, but mate, if you could just get the kick in the ballpark, you don't even have to get it right.
I know.
Like, that's going to be the big thing for finals is, especially for those two sides. Like, once again, you don't have to get the kick right because, like, either they'll score tries or they're going to get penalty after penalty because you just can't afford to let them get to the ball.
Yeah, 100%. And I will say, like, the good thing for Panthers is a lot of their tries came off Coates. So if you look at that and you go, listen, we had tries scored by kicks, it shows that our defence is pretty rock solid at the moment. But yeah, I thought Coates was absolutely phenomenal.
I can't wait to see what Penrith do next time because they're going to have to beat the Melbourne Storm at some point to win this comp, in my opinion. No shit, that's going to be a target for them.
Yeah, like what I guess like because they're so smart with coming up with ways to bend the rules or like certain little thing. Like so are the Storm. So it's not just the Penrith Panthers. Any good team.
I do think it's one of the harder things to overcome though.
Yeah, I wonder whether it's just a matter of anytime they get in good ball, do not give them time to kick cross field. Like just shoot out of the line at them or something. I don't know.
They'll come up with something. And that's probably my one criticism of the Storm and why, particularly looking through a Raiders lens where I'm like somewhat bullish. They're scoring so many tries off kicks. And even in this game, they got away with it. But in regular time, certainly, before the Harry Grant try at the end, there were 2 tries off kicks, a try off an intercept. Like I thought for the most part Penrith were the better team. And it's a credit to the Storm because they hung in and to get away with the win was unbelievable. But they, each week, and I had a bit of a look, I couldn't find it, but there'd be a stat around there somewhere around tries scored off kicks in the NRL. The Roosters be up there, but the Melbourne Storm, through in particular Coates and Eli Katoa, with these aerial targets, they just go to it time and time and time again. Now, to your point, boys, a team has to be able to shut that down. And there's no reason why the Melbourne Storm can't win a prelim and then a grand final with 3 tries off kicks where Coates and Katoa and these blokes get under it and produce it. It's, probably a bit of a boring way to do it. It's not these, exceptional ball movements and tries, but you can still win it that way. But if a team can work out how to shut it down and nullify, in particular, Xavier Coates, I think the Storm's attack is only okay at the moment. We know with the level that it can hit, especially when you add Jerome Hughes back into it, but a lot of it are coming off kicks, and I reckon it's a great point you make around Penrith next time they get to them, but they've got some of the smartest coaches and players in the NRL. I reckon they'll find ways to, you're not entirely going to shut down Xavier Coates with his aerial threat, but they'll find ways to do it somewhat.
I wonder whether they'll just give a penalty away. Like just escort him. Like obviously don't tackle him in the air, but just escort him off and just give a penalty. Because you'd be a brave ref to 10 in the bin and escort. Do you know what I mean? Like if just off my top of my head, I would probably be willing just to go, mate, just shoulder charge him off the ball and give the penalty away. We'll defend again. Hopefully that penalty is there so that we can just the kicks to the other side by the end of the next set.
I think, and again, so much easier said than done, Kempy, but it's just about the kick pressure, and they just need to give the kickers just that half a millisecond less to get that kick away, because what Wishy is doing in place of Jerome Hughes got some of the best short kicking game in the competition. Cam Munster, as we've spoken about it in recent weeks, has come on leaps and bounds, and I just feel like they're getting lots of times to get these kicks away across field, and if they can just have one lunatic just flying off the line on last tackle every single time to try and get that, again, easier said than done. If it can be a metre further back or to the left or to the right, something, because they're putting it on a platter for Xavier Coates.
I mean, even the ones where like they're kicking it like it's not even a long kick. It's like a 5 metre little dink. Like, how do you get to that bloke?
That's what they're doing most of the time. It is these little dinks. They're not necessarily huge, big towering crossfield kicks at times. Like a lot of times they do. They just go short side to Munster or Wishart on this occasion. He just dinked it up.
Yeah, and so like, but how do you get to that bloke? If it's you got to cover 5 metres in like a second.
Like
really.
if there's a quick play of the ball, there's nothing you can do about it. It's simple as that.
I love as well how many of the teams, the Melbourne Storm are doing, the Parramatta are doing it all the time, where, like, as you said, you get your kick pressure up there, but, like, they're getting tackled down the short side, 3 metres out from the line. They're just throwing it straight backwards, and the winger gets themselves back on side. Yeah. And it's just like, what do you do? What do you...
Honestly, I think in those situations, I'd just tell my centre, mate, literally tackle him off the ball. I don't give a fuck, give a penalty away. But it just shows you how good the Storm have nailed it. Because it's like Coates and the Storm are making it look easy. That shit is not easy. That is so... If it was easy, you just have a tall winger on the edge and you do it all the time.
The Storm could I don't want to sort of just funnel it into one good thing that Melbourne Storm do. So they've got these attacking superstars, but they could dead set win a comp this year off crossfield kicks to Xavier Coates. Yeah. They could win a grand final, every chance, 12-8, off 2 tries from Xavier Coates, leaving him above a winger.
But because it is truly the one area that if everything goes well for the Storm, there's no technique that can stop it.
Yeah.
Whereas everything else, you've got, like, you can jam in, you can put pressure. They're all systems around everything else other than high balls being caught. It's almost like if you've got 2 blokes and one's just way faster than the other, he's always going to beat him. And if you're way better in the high, you're going to always catch it. And
that's where we sit there and go, all right, how far can Melbourne go? And they're probably their weak link in terms of winning a premiership and coming up against like a big Raiders pack, for example, or a Penrith pack on the weekend is that if they lose that battle through the middle, they don't get the momentum, the spine will sort of shut down a bit. Even if a team does do that and win the wrestle through the middle, you still can't stop the crossfield kick, can you?
And you still can't stop Xavier Coates from getting a friggin' intercept. What the hell?
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. He wasn't going to let that... he wasn't going to get mowed down this time, though, was he?
Nah.
On the intercepting. I mean, it was touch and go there. I thought he was nearly going to get caught, but he was just... He took a bit... He probably leapt from about 6 or 7 metres out almost in the end to get there.
Far out.
Yeah.
Casey McLean is quick.
Unbelievable finish.
Yeah.
He is quick, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, Coates has just been absolutely on another level. Like, how many big plays has this bloke had in big games? Storm are using him so well. I just can't wait when they have Hughes, Pappy, Stefano's gone to a whole... I can't believe how good this
was
bloke
about to say, Stefano since Origin, I was just running through the numbers. In the last 4 weeks, he's had 21 tackle breaks in the last 4 weeks, and he's averaging 100 and about 45 metres per game, which isn't in your pay and half sort of areas and all that, but they're fucking tough metres. Like,
jeez,
kills me that it's literally as soon as that Blues jersey was taken off, he's just gone bang.
Well, the question marks were around Melbourne's middles for a fair while, and now Stefano's playing this sort of footy going, all right, that could be problems.
And if they could just somehow get Nelson back to just solid footy, you just
25 minutes.
Yeah.
Just 25 minutes, just do your job, run straight hard, get to your front. That's it. I don't need any offloads, anything like that. I just need momentum. With them all in the side, like, fuck. They've got the grit, they've proven that. They get Hughes, Pappy, Walbrook potentially back, but, you know, they've had guys that have covered outstanding on the weekend.
Even, mate, like, you look at Jerome Hughes being out now. Wish he's not the same class as Jerome Hughes, but in terms of your backup half, he's like a clone of him. He does the exact same thing. He plays direct. He runs hard. He looks to take the line as often as he can. As I mentioned, that short kicking game, I think 2 of the coach tries came off his kicking game across field as well. He's a replica of him.
That's the other thing as well. Like, it's great to have Wish who comes in there, as you said. He does the exact same job. But you also lose a lot of punch without Wishy in the 14, which I think come September time, bring him back off the bench. You know, regardless of what role he plays, I just put him on as that sort of roaming 13, just his leg speed through the middle. On that as well, Trent Leary, I thought he was fantastic on the week.
Mate, how good? It's similar-ish. Like, he was already doing solid work, but similar-ish to Stefano to a degree. I just think Origin was the best for him. Like, I just think that game 3 really drilled home to Trent Leoro that, like, am I the same as like a Yo or a Cam Murray? Absolutely not. But there's a certain type of footy that I play that's very specific to me that I'm so good at. He locks up the middle almost better than any 13 in the comp. Isaiah Yo's still the best defensively, but Leoro's not that far off.
I'll tell you what though, like, I agree with you. Like, he's his own unique player, but he's starting to look more and more like Yo to me.
Yeah, fair. That's fair. Yeah. I just think he's just like... He's a Melbourne Storm lock through and through, you know what I mean? He's not going to...
They've never really had that X-factor ball player.
Yeah, exactly.
They've just always had that guy that's just, I'm tough, I'll do a job.
You talk about, like, origin quality players come up with origin quality plays, and that charge down of Nathan Cleary, like by the fingertips, he came from a mile away. You know, that's origin written all over.
Yeah, at the end of the game, big season.
He played 70 minutes, so he played near enough the whole game, and he comes up with that.
And you're getting, like, physically they got dominated for most of that game, and he's in the middle in the washing machine the whole time, essentially.
That's the other frustrating thing coming out of this game. Like, no one gave a shit about that play.
Yeah, it's true.
It's unbelievable. It was a huge effort play that decided that game, and it doesn't even get spoken about because we're too busy talking about field goal setups.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
Circling back to the Raiders a little bit, but I mentioned the 4-pack matchup, but terrifying thing of Xavier Coates going at and Eli Katoa on there, just like our back three, which battle under the high ball. Xavier Coates could have a field day.
Mate, what about Munster?
Unbelievable.
Is he serious?
Yeah.
Just goes to fullback and kills it at 30 years old.
Yeah. Big whoop. Went back there where he obviously cut his teeth, came through. I thought he was... didn't see it coming, but when they announced it an hour out, I was like, all right, I'm sure, I wasn't really worried for him. I knew it was going to work, but probably the one out of that rejig that surprised me was actually Pezzett.
Yeah,
came in and... particularly with the kicking, so important. He had 16 kicks for 641 metres, obviously the 40-20 as well. Munster still did a bit for the back. He had 6 for 200 metres, and then Wishy had 5 for 137. So a big, clearly it was something that probably worked all week. He was always going to be the plan to get Pezzett in there and to control the kicking game, but I thought he was really important.
That's nearly 1,000 kicking metres, which shows you how their field position was just getting dominated.
Yeah, absolutely. But, the rejig, Munster, he did a great job at the back there, but I thought Pezzett, balanced that out nicely as well.
Just on that as well, like, unbelievable in this day and age to get to your game of footy an hour before you go, Munster's changing position and no one knows.
Yeah, so
like just
true.
another sign of just how much of a good system it is down there. All these other clubs, someone scratches themselves and it's on the front page of the paper.
Yeah.
They move one of the best players in the game to fullback and you don't hear a peep.
And it would have been a headline all week long if that had got out. And guess who made the line break that gave the Storm the field position for Harry Gant's try? Munster. Like, game on the line and does nothing doing, and he just goes dummy step straight through. Bro, it doesn't make any sense. How does he do it so often? Like, I don't get it. I just can't. This guy, and he was solid for the most of the game. Like, really solid, got through his work. But any time the game's on the line and he's locked in, he will make something happen. It's just mental.
It's like only ever when it matters.
Yeah.
Is Kempy the bane of super coaches because he should be this super coach, superstar, and we target like soft matchups against, Titans and injury depleted bunnies, and he never does anything in those games. But when it's a top 4 team, he just turns it on.
It's mental.
It's like just when you put the bat signal out, he'll arrive. Yeah. Every single time.
It's just so strange. I wonder, what is his headspace? Like, before a game that doesn't really matter or they know that he knows he's going to win, does he knowingly sit there and go, I'll just do my job today? And then when the top 4 games come around, does he go, or Origin, does he go, you know what? I'm going to fucking rip today.
I think like every competitor, mate, particularly in such a good side like the Melbourne Storm, where in the softer matchup, he goes, I don't need to be on today, at all. But he goes, when they come up against top 4 sides, when the going gets tough, he goes, all right, this is my moment. Like, the competitor comes out going, I need to get us across the line. It's what all the best champion athletes do.
Just incredible the way he could just do that. Who else? I thought Marion Seve.
Yeah.
Mr. Goggles.
The goggles.
Holy. Mate, he is strong as shit. Lot of tackles that some centres would bounce off or fall off. He was just strong in contact, and obviously his try as well. I thought he was great.
Isn't it once again they've been doing it for years realistically, the Melbourne Storm. They always just seem to have 1 or 2 centres that are always playing reserve grade that they have to call upon every 6 or 7 weeks, whether it was like young Tona Mapea for a long time. Marion Seve's been there for a few years too. They just come in, like Grant Anderson was once that guy.
Yep.
The way that they build a roster and the depth they have to be able to call on guys. Like if they're in a grand final in 8 weeks' time and there's an injury there and they have to call on him, normally I'm going, beautiful spot defender, they're bringing in a new guy.
Yep.
Seve would just be like, probably do a job.
Yeah, mate. So interesting with your shout last time with Blore and the minutes. So once again, taking off around the 48-minute mark. I wonder whether they're getting a bit of data back saying that he's fatigued, he's struggling with energy, potentially?
Well, we spoke about it in the finals last year. I felt this was the case with him last year as well. If you go back to that grand final, they did really pepper his edge as well. So, yeah.
Who entered the edge for him? Do we know?
No.
I might have been Chan came on the edge. Yeah, that's
Chan,
right.
and then Meany was in the centres. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Chan? Like, just out of nowhere, like, came in, I think it was last year, and we're like, oh, yeah, this guy's... And then he just got injured, and then he was kind of out of the running. And then ever since coming back in the centres, obviously he was on the edge on the weekend. He's been great this year when he's come back in.
You see when he goes back to reserve grade, he's a class above that grade. So, I reckon he's going to be one we're going to talk about for the next few years.
Yeah, okay. How old is Chan? He is...
He's going to be 22, maybe. He's not... I think he's...
23, so still super young. Still super young. Anyway, look, such a brave performance from the Storm. I really think that's the last little thing I needed to see from them was just ticker. Now, that doesn't mean I still think they actually have got more in them, as in their playing ability, but that was just the last piece of the puzzle for me where I'm like, nah, they're the real deal. I think they're the real deal. Onto the Penny Panthers. Like, they were just so clinical for so long of this game. Like, they were suffocating the Storm. Any other team in the comp, other than maybe the Raiders, I think they win 13+ in this game. Especially in the first half, they were super dominant. But it unfortunately just, they just hung in there and obviously lost the game towards the end there. And I would say they did look like they ran out of puff a little bit for about 20 minutes in that second half. They found it again towards the end of the game. So I wonder whether they need to just instead of it being a 10 out of 10 to start the first 40 minutes, maybe pull it down to a 9 out of 10 so you can spread out that line speed a little bit more because it did seem like they front-loaded a lot of their energy and they didn't get enough points to to push them out in front to enough.
I thought in this game too, as you said, they were clinical for so long. They just had that one moment where Blaze throws a no-look pass. Which is interesting to see. Like, I could be wrong, but I think it's the first time I've seen him on the right-hand side of the field in that moment. And he got jammed up and it was a moment where he just had to take that hit and he sort of threw a blind pass. And, it's just sort of sums up the NRL for me in that moment that if you're off by 1% in one moment, that's the game. That'll turn the entire momentum. I'm really excited to see how Blaze responds against the Raiders this week. I think he's just going to run all day.
Mate, I thought Leota, especially in the first half, was phenomenal. Another guy that whenever it's a big game, always kills it.
I don't think they'll be too disheartened by this, the Panthers. Like they played some pretty bloody good footy, and at the end of the day, they came up against another champion team in the NRL who, showed enough grit to get through it. But as I said, I just think the nature of a lot of these tries would have... Ivan Cleary would be sitting there going, right, tries off kicks, there was a tap back, all sorts of things. We played some pretty bloody good footy. Even like the Harry Grant try at the end, I think Ivan will look at that and go, guys, the amount of people we had around the ball there and everyone went for the field goal and just let Harry Grant do what Harry Grant does. We've seen him do this time and time again in big moments. If that's regular part of the game, not in Golden Point where everyone's locked in on a field goal, that try doesn't happen sort of thing. So the Panthers have been up for a long time. They were up for this again, but it wasn't their night. But they played bloody good footy.
Yeah, I said the same on Friday. Like, I think people are forgetting they were on 9 on the trot. Yeah. So for them to be this up for this game, it just shows you that's probably maybe why they did fatigue a little bit in that last 20 minutes because they've been up for so long. I thought Ivan Cleary he summed it up really well. He said we lacked a bit of our edge. And so they had all the clinical things there, but that killer edge where they just go bang, bang, bang and score 3 tries in the last 10 minutes of a half or whatever, they probably just didn't have that. I will say just quickly, what's hilarious is I just spoke about how, it's probably the first time where a winger has clearly outplayed Toto. This is what he still had. 21 runs, 243 metres, 109 post contact, 7 tackle breaks, a line break, no errors. He had 107 post contact metres in a game where he got outplayed and he still did that. It shows you the standard we have for this bloke is so high that he can do that and we can still say, it's just crazy.
But even then, Brian Toto is 180 odd centimetres. Xavier Coates has this tremendous advantage, not only height-wise but elite-wise as well, as he should get out jumped by.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're actually talking about him going, as you said earlier, Brian Toto was beaten in the air. Should be getting beaten in the air all the time with his height.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a great point. I thought Edwards was good, but just a couple of uncharacteristic errors. I was a bit surprised with that.
Jeez, they came in key moments too.
Yeah.
I think one towards the end of the second half, and then he turned the ball over that allowed the Harry Grant try, didn't he?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And so just very, very uncharacteristic errors from Edwards. As I said, he still played really well. It's just those key moments, that's what he usually doesn't do. He's the opposite of
He
that.
did it a few weeks ago against, I think it was the Titans as well, where under the high ball he dropped a few and had a few really poor errors. So, again, consistency's been the staple of his game for a number of years, but there's a few creeping in there.
I think that is the big takeaway, as you both said, for the Panthers too. Like, I think if you take away that Blaze intercept and those Edwards drop balls, which they haven't let Blaze cross, the 50% of the field all season. They do it once. That happens. Edwards then drops those 2 balls. Like, could have turned very quickly in this one.
Yeah.
I just think the big thing for Penrith is it now puts them in 5th place. They've got to play the Raiders. They've got to play the Bulldogs. Like, that'll be semi-final football for those 2 sides. It'll be big games. I just reckon if they would have won this game and been in the top 4, it might have meant that in round 27 they could have maybe just given everyone a spell for a week.
Fair.
But they put themselves in this position.
It's just, it still blows my mind that they are here where they are. Like, I can't express to you how poorly they played at the start of the year. They were diabolical at the start of the year. And then they're playing this standard of rugby league now. It's just absolutely incredible. Who stood out for you with the Penrith Panthers, mate?
We spoke about it a minute ago with the big chase, nearly mowed down Xavier Coates, who gave her out. But Casey McLean,
He's special, man.
He's one of these guys who obviously last year showed some glimpses. Start of the year, like a lot of the Penrith Panthers, was a little bit slow out of the blocks, but his last little while has been pretty remarkable. So obviously the ticket to almost chase down Xavier Coates is very impressive, but just gets through a lot of work. 182 metres again the other day, 75 post contact. Like
without a line break as well.
That's right. They're tough kind of yards. He's obviously still got to take another couple of years to fill out a little bit, but hell of a footballer there. I thought he was really good on Thursday.
I'm with you, mate. He is a special talent. And what's his brother doing at the moment?
Mate, I was just about to just tell a quick story. Like, my Supercoach draft thing I do each year at the start of the year, 3 years ago, I remember I grabbed Jesse McLean. I remember thinking, he might be a little bit too young. That was 3 years ago, and Casey's younger than Jesse. Like, how far he's come in that time is unbelievable.
Far out.
And when I say 3 years ago, not the start of last season, the season before that. So it really wasn't that long
ago. I mean, you could tell at the start of this year, he looked out of his depth at the start of this year. And now he's one of the... At least top 5 form centre of the competition right now, in the top 5 form-wise, I would say. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'd say top 5 form-wise.
Casey at the start of last season played in a Jersey Flegg trial. So he was still playing in trials for Jersey Flegg last year.
Crazy,
It's
bro.
unbelievable.
Jesus. Tungors, I think he's been great, Tungor, to be honest. I think that, he's improved from last year. I think most of the year, except for, it was probably the first 10 rounds where I was like, it's looking not great. Ever since they've gone on their run, I think Tungor's been quite good.
Yeah, Tungo, him and Ivan Cleary just have some unspoken or unwritten agreement that he's going to be ordinary for half the year, but when it matters come, leading into finals, he turns into the best centre in the NRL. So he's building nicely and he does it every year.
Ivan Cleary every round, like in the first 10 rounds, walks past him. He's just like, mate, you've only got a few more rounds to play shit. Tungor's like, all right, mate, I'll sort it out. Gets to round 12.
He holds up a 12 jersey in front of him. It's like,
I already spoke about it, but as I said, I thought Leota was absolutely, especially in that first half, I thought they really lost momentum when he went off the field. Mate, he is... I know we give him a lot of praise, but he doesn't get anywhere near the praise he deserves. Whenever I watch a call, I barely hear him getting complimented. I'm like, are we watching the same game? This guy is bending the line every run, finding his front, and he's jamming blokes in defence. All the momentum is off the back of Leota, and it never gets talked about. I'm like, I feel like unless you're, offloading and bumping, running sideways and, breaking tackles, you don't get noticed. It's like, as a front rower in that system, Leota is doing a 10 out of 10 job most of the time in big games. I thought he was great. So I'm with you, Timmy, in regards to I think both teams can walk away from this and go, yep, pretty good outing. I'm pretty happy with where we're at. Obviously, there's improvement for both of us, but I think both coaches will be like, all right, we're probably where we should be at this part of the season. Anyone else, boys, in the Panthers?
All good, mate.
All good? No. All good? Okay, on to the next game. Warriors prevail over the Dragoons. I will say, although very happy for the Warriors to get the win, this was all about the Dragons for me. I can't believe how mentally tough they were. Lost to Bellin, lost Stewart, then lost Sele with the head knock.
Yep.
So,
And had to wait an extra 15 minutes to activate the 18th man.
yeah, craziness, mental. All those things that went wrong for them, and they were in that game up to their eyeballs. Like when they were at full strength, they were 10-0 up. I thought that this was a great sign for the Dragons and where they're heading. They seem confident in what they do. They've got a style of rugby league that really suits the players they've got. I think Dragons fans should be really happy with it. I actually saw some videos, and I get it, it's the internet, you're just trying to play up for your crowd or whatever, but like people are angry. I was like, what? They went to New Zealand against a top 4 side or a top 5 side, lost half their side, including all the other injuries they have, and they were in it to their eyeballs all the way to the end. And also, like, you know me, I'm a big proponent of if a player dives, it shouldn't be an obstruction. I thought that was an obstruction every day of the week. I couldn't believe they let that go. And they keep saying, the ball was passed past him. But it's like, if he doesn't get knocked over there, he can make his outside man slide out and make sure that it changes the whole dynamic. Whereas if he's out of the line, centre has to jam in, winger has to jam in, that happens. So, anyway, that's my thoughts. I thought the Dragons, I said, look, good win for the Warriors. They've got a bunch of injuries too. They hung in there. They got the job done. That's all they needed to do. Hopefully they can be better next week. But I thought the Dragons were so tough in this game.
I just want to give one guy a quick shout out from the Dragons. I'm just going to read you out Payne Haas's stats for the weekend. He had 19 runs for 177 run metres, 78 post-contact. This guy had 20 runs for 180 run metres and 85 post-contact. David Clemmer.
Mate.
Payne Clemmer.
Talk about vintage George Clooney stuff. He just has come out of nowhere, Clem.
It's unbelievable. He's playing I think he's playing the best footy now since he's been in Canterbury colours. Fair?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
Like the last few weeks has been unbelievable. And I think that, I speak about it, and we talk about it all the time on this show, like what guys like Cook and Gutho have brought to this team. But I think we have to throw Clemmer into that conversation because even when they signed him, I sort of went, why?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Here?
But you can see as well on the field, like he's the one yelling and screaming and getting up the boys, and then cheering when they do something good. He seems to be a real leader of that pack, which is what they need, which is really smart from Shane Flanagan to identify, I've got this young pack, I need an experienced head that might not be necessarily at his peak, but he knows what it is to be a front rower in the NRL. I'm with you, mate. I think Clem has been absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Timmy, what do you think of this game?
64 minutes.
Jeez, for a big fella at his age. Was he 30, 31?
31.
Which
is he's old, but he's not that old.
Yeah, for how long he's been.
He's still got some footy to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, boys. The Dragons, to do what they did here, losing 3 blokes within 29 or so minutes, 3 key forwards, going over New Zealand, coming off massive games. They knocked off the Raiders and the Sharks back-to-back into this game. They led 10-0 before the first head knocks happened and could very easily have won the game. You add in as well, like the 18th man to come in. They lost 3 forwards and they had Tyrell Sloan, a winger, come in too as well to help them out. So I thought the Dragons were enormous, and off the back of the entire season, but in particular the last month or so, leading into 2026, they're so well placed. Like the grit they've got in this side, not just grit, but like they're playing some really good footy and have all year. Flano's got them humming, and off the back of 2 great performances, and the way the season's sort of not petering out, but there's not likely to be any finals footy. They had every reason to go over to this game, lose a couple of blokes early and throw in a bit of a towel against a desperate Warriors side who are now starting to sort of limp towards finals. But they didn't. They got up for it and almost pulled off another win. So huge performance. And the Warriors, look, they got away with it, but the reality is they are limping towards finals. They've got the draw and they've got windows open up for them to now make the top 4 again because of a pretty good run home. But they need to show something a lot more.
Yeah, I'm with you. Mate, I couldn't believe when the game was on and Sloan made that break, and he slowed up to pass the ball.
Take him on.
I was like, Sloan, you've been taking blokes on when you shouldn't for so long. Like the amount of times you've gone overs when you shouldn't have gone overs. And then the one time where it's like, bruh, you will gas this bloke. He doesn't.
He had so much space on his outside as well.
I know. I mean, he did really, really well, obviously, to make that break. So, and look, he did the conservative play, which I'm sure the tough thing for guys like Sloan is like he gets ripped when he does it and it doesn't work. Yeah. And then when he doesn't do it, it's a really hard position to be in because like you're the player in the team that's you're brought into the side to take those risks because you're the guy that can make it happen. But then a few times it doesn't happen and you get hammered by all the fans. That's why players lose their confidence. They go into their shell and they go, okay, I'll be conservative next time. That's why.
Years of take the safe option or cut the errors out of your game. That would have been burning in the back of the poor kid's mind. And it's just like any other time, it's, mate, just take him on.
It just happens all the time. And that's why the Walsh situation is such a delicate balance, because you don't want him ever to be in the mind state of, I'll just take the safe route. So it's not really a knock on Sloan, because I can understand why his mindset was like that.
The line break itself was elite. Short ball, I think it was Leilua. It was brilliant.
Outstanding. Geez, isn't Leilua just silky when he wants to be? He can be such a problem on the edge there. It's just about consistency with Leilua. With the Dragons, just so many good things to look forward to towards next year. I can't wait to, the amount of young forwards they've got not playing right now is insane. When they have them all back, this side's going to be an absolute problem. I've got to say as well, Kyle Flanagan's last month of footy has been really good. Really good. And not really good in the sense is he playing like Jerome Hughes? No, but really good in the sense, what is his job? Get the boys around the field. Some really good short balls to his centre, Fine, I think. Just a good, solid, traditional 7 doing his job. I think he's been good the last month.
He just does what he needs to do.
Yep.
You don't ask the world of him. You don't pay the world of him.
Yeah. No.
He does a lot of work on the inside just to get into line and playing square and creating the space out wide where, as a result of not necessarily throwing the last pass as often as a Nico Hines might, the stat sheet doesn't have try assist, but he's every bit as integral to that side and the try being scored as another player in the team, or whoever gets the try assist and throws the last pass.
Well, even the Fine try, earlier in that set, they nearly scored on the other edge because of Flanagan's brilliant ball playing and holding up the middle. And then they went back to they got tackled, went back, and then he laid that try for Fine on. So I've got to say, Shane Flanagan and Kyle Flanagan, the fact that they have ridden this out and they are playing good footy now, it puts them in good stead heading into next year if they can keep building this confidence, but also confidence with the fans as well, because if that noise can go away, it'll just make things a lot easier internally as well. What do you reckon, mate, of the Dragons?
Yeah, I thought they ripped in and, I thought they probably deserved to win. Obviously didn't get the win, but, they showed plenty of ticker and obviously had a couple of head knocks, a couple of injuries that made things a little bit tough for them. But, yeah, always tough to go over to New Zealand and to keep it so close like that. I thought they were, showed a lot of ticker, which is good to see. Big Christian Tuipulotu back into the team.
The money man.
The money man. They've missed him, just gets through so much kind of work and hard work as well. 96 post-contact metres. Thought he was really good for the Dragons the other day as well. But, yeah, Kyle as well, you've just given him a rap. But I thought he, his last month or so, particularly headlined by that Raiders game that he was so big in, but he's taken some confidence out of that and he's playing some good footy back end of the year.
You mentioned off the top, all the forwards they've got out as well. The 2 strike centres out too, Moses Sully and Val Holmes. The Moses Sully injury didn't get as much attention as it should have. That's a huge out for the Dragons.
He's so important to them.
Yeah.
They build a lot of their sets coming out of their own end with him. I've got to say, Matt Fine, best game in first grade for him?
In attack,
Yeah, obviously defence was, but listen, you score more than you let in, that's a good
he was unreal. Mate, 2 tries, I think.
213 metres, 55 post contact, 7 tackle breaks, 3 line breaks, 1 offload, 22 tackles, 1 miss, but there were a couple misses that you don't get counted.
There was a great line break early on in the game as well, where I think he tried to throw a ball right on the line and could have easily been another try or assist. In attack, he was outstanding. I thought him and Adam Pompey really mirrored each other because
100%.
Pompey was outstanding in attack as well, but defensively, the battle that they had, the attackers won every time.
Yeah.
But these 2 players with so much to give in attack, they can just round out the defence a little bit. There's something in it.
I got faith in Flano with Fine because he's probably earlier in his career than Pompey. Pompey's been around for a while and he still kind of does make these reads. So I don't know if that'll ever kind of fix itself. But Fine, he would have played 30 NRL games or something like that. Pompey is such an... I'll get to Pompey when we talk about the Warriors. He's such an interesting player.
65 games at first grade.
Matt Fine.
Yep.
Jesus. That's crazy. When did he debut?
21.
Wow. Okay. But yeah, I thought he was outstanding.
Maxi Fine's played 30.
Okay. And he's up at the Dolphins now. Yeah.
There's something about both of them though. Both of them have a game every 5 or 6 weeks, you sort of go, oh, shit.
You can see the talent.
Yeah.
You can see the talent. Great footwork, both of them. But yeah, Dragons, I think there's a lot to like. I think there's... I do agree with you in the Tui Pelotu. Geez, he does bring a lot to this side. Like, he might be a little bit like Mulatalo when it comes to the Sharkies, just that energy on the edge there. Obviously gets through a bunch of work as well. Already spoken about Leilua, but I thought he was outstanding as well. Anyone else start for you guys for the...
Just Damien Cook played tough.
Oh, mate. 60 tackles, only 1 miss. 60 tackles, only 1 miss. Bro, the cardio you need to do that is insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
I assume with all their injuries, you will probably see Halangahu given an opportunity to start on an edge. He ended up playing 66 minutes in this game. Big watch next week against South Sydney. Good chance you might get him versus Tallis Duncan. That'll be a cracker.
How good. How good. So, yeah, anyway, really good stuff for the Dragons. I think there's a lot to like there. On to the Warriors. Look, they got the job done. That's all that matters. I thought Roger Tuivasa-Sheck was one of their best players. He's outside of the Bulldogs. His last month of footy, he's averaging like essentially 250 metres a game.
Mate, I ran the numbers. Last 5 games, I've cherry-picked it a little bit. I dropped the Doggies game out of it just because of the conditions it was played in. Granted, even in that game, he topped the metre count with 158. 5 games around that, averaging 282 metres per game.
Oof.
How hectic is that?
Wow. What? I wonder what's the highest average over 5 games we've ever seen.
I reckon that.
That's probably going to be there.
Surely.
280? And essentially averaging 100 post-contact metres as well? Far out. It's just strange how like these things work, because like last year it really looked like maybe RTS is probably getting a bit older now. Probably not going to see the vintage RTS, and maybe he's not a vintage, but like 280 metres a game?
It's unbelievable.
Fuck. And it's not even like the Warriors have been dominating the last 5 weeks or whatever. They've probably lost more than they've won. That's crazy. That is crazy. Who stood out for you in the Warriors, mate?
There was a moment early on, and the Warriors were sort of very much on the back foot. Chanel Harris-Tavita came in, shotted Flano, forced a turnover, went up the field, scored a try off, a bit of good work from Halasima and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, got him back in the game, and it was just a big sort of 2-3 minute passage. Another one where just been tremendous all year and probably doesn't get too many plaudits, but yeah, that was the big moment for me.
And then Harris-Tavita, he's catch along the ground when that grubber came through. What the hell? We've spoken about Harris-Tavita so much, and like there's still parts, like he definitely needs to be partnered with a really good half, I think, because I don't think he is a half that can like lead a team around and be the main man, but he's always just been so underrated to me.
Perfect foil.
Yeah, absolutely. He just has these big moments in his game that, like, whether it's defense or attack. In regards to like some negatives, this was Jackson Ford of old, unfortunately. Just so many errors. Sometimes I wonder whether like they need to send a message out to him to like, listen, take one less carry a set for the next few minutes, get your breath back, and then go again. Because I feel like a lot of his errors is just because he's fatigued, because he gets through quite a lot of work. But gee, some of these errors they stung.
Yeah, unfortunately they snuck back into his game over the weekend, because I thought this season he had done really well to turn it around.
I'm with you.
So yeah, I think he also got suspended for 3 games, so I don't think we'll see him again until final time, which is another big loss for the Warriors there. The other one that I just wanted to mention was Lecker in this game. Like, I've been screaming from the rooftop, start him. I'm sure there would have been a moment where Webby would have thought, this is probably why I don't have him starting at the moment. 3 really key errors in that game.
Yeah. And like,
just concentration errors, I thought. So.
Yeah, and it's like it's a typical young man's journey as a rookie.
Yep,
you know,
100%.
You have these huge few games. You are the talk of the town. Everyone loves you. You might take your eye off the ball a little bit. You just concentrate, and it doesn't have to be 20% off the ball. It can be just 1%. Like a little thing. It might be going into games. You might be eating a little bit worse, or you're on the phone late too night, or playing video games too late. All these like tiny little details that you let creep into your game when things are going really well. I don't know if that's the case, but it does seem like this last kind of month where he still has these crazy big moments. Like the try assist with Roger Tuivasa-Sheck was like only Lecker's doing that. Yeah. It's just part of being a rookie, man. Like that's it happens to nearly every player that comes in. he'll iron it out. But I agree with you, mate. Just a couple of really important errors that just can't happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be marking him this weekend.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Who stood out for you guys with the Warriors?
You covered off on a couple of them there. I thought Nickel Cookstad pretty solid. 19 tackles, none missed in the centres there on the edge. Pretty impressive. I thought he was pretty handy the other day. Probably that'd be better for the Warriors.
The Wires lost in reserve grade over the weekend.
What? Wow.
Ends their I think they had a draw a couple of weeks ago, so it ends their not losing streak, whatever you want to call it, undefeated streak.
Did they lose to?
Who do you reckon they lost to?
Probably like Panthers?
Panthers.
Yeah, wow. Fire out. How are the Panthers going, Rezzies, this year?
They are fourth.
Okay.
Top four, yeah.
Thoughts on Tuapiki at fullback instead of Chance?
I think you will see a change once Rocco Berry or Leia becomes available. I think that they're just a little bit short at the moment outside back.
Even though I thought Tuapiki was probably one of his better games, but I just think, do you miss the crazy work Chance gets through at the back there? Him and Roger just, doubling up.
I like Chance at fullback for sure.
Maybe it is just due to depth. With Pompey, we spoke about it earlier. Geez, he has all the talent in the world. Like, seriously, big, powerful, athletic, explosive. Just that defence. Like, he'll go through patches where it's quite solid. It's okay. But there's some games where you just go on, what's he doing?
Yeah.
Hopefully he can find it. Hopefully Webster can sort it out. Okay, let's get into the next game. Roosters crush the Doggies 32-12. And this is brought to you by the Captain's Club, guys. The NRL's biggest rivals are going head-to-head in round 27. Roosters will play the Rabbitohs at Allianz Stadium. The Roosters have a game day experience in the Captain's Club where you sit in premium seating. You get a 2-course meal with half-time catering from Mr. Wong, plus unlimited premium beverages. The link to this will be in the show notes. But if you use code BLOKE20, the Roosters are giving a 20% discount. So Matty will make sure that this link's in the show notes immediately as soon as this goes up. Guys, I know what you're thinking. Oh, yeah, I'll get to that when it's the week of the game. It will be gone by then. Do it now whilst you get the discount, because once the discount's gone, obviously it's not coming back. Okay, let's get into the game. Roosters defeat the Bulldogs. And with this game, I actually thought the first half was one of the best kicking battles I've seen in a very long time. Burton v Sam Walker, just the back and forth. Hugo Savala with his long kicking game as well. It was a really good thing. But I will say the question around them being able to deal with such a big, explosive footy side, it is still there for me with the Bulldogs. I was really happy with their performance last week. And a lot of people try to focus in on this Galvin situation. I don't think even though Galvin wasn't great on the weekend, that's not my concern with the Bulldogs. My concern with the Bulldogs is this current roster, do they have enough players that can go to another level in finals footy? Because we all know that as finals starts approaching, everyone takes another step up. And we saw on the weekend when the Roosters really put that finals level aggression and intent into the game. Maybe it was just because the Dogs didn't play well, but I felt like the Roosters were just too dominant here. And I've got some questions in regards to, are there some switches that the Dogs could make to help with that? But I'll get to that a little bit later. But the physicality of the Roosters was just too much for the Dogs in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. It'll be very interesting. I think Canterbury play Melbourne this week.
Huge game.
Huge game. I think we learned a lot about Canterbury. And I didn't watch the whole thing. I caught part of it. Looked like Serraldo was sending a bit of a challenge.
Massive, yeah, 100%. Basically saying I'm dropping blokes.
Yep.
He said there are some players that are training with niggle injuries, and essentially what he was implying was, if you are training as hard as you can, not training with an injury and going half-assed. It's a tough thing. Do you want them training and actually getting on the field, or do you just line in the sand, mate, unless you're good to go all the way? And so Serraldo feels like their training probably hasn't been as intense as they want it to be. He also feels like some of those players' mentality on the weekend wasn't like Critter said that we can't have victim mentality, and that would suggest to me that there's some guys with some injuries that are like, I'm struggling because I've got a knee injury or this injury. That's what it kind of sounded like.
The problem is they have been chopping and changing a little bit, obviously, the roster of late, and what implications is that going to have come finals time? Because they've near enough got their full strength team. Like Connor Tracy came back into the fold this week at fullback. They're missing Marcelo Montoya and Satili Tupanua, who are like, all right, they're decent enough outs, but then far from the biggest names on this roster. They've brought Galvin in for Sexton. We won't go into that. But the other one they've made in recent weeks is Bailey Hayward, who's come in at 9 for Reid Marnie. Now,
that's an interesting one.
That's obviously, again, not saying it's not a decision for the now and the short term, but it's definitely a decision for the long term to get reps in Bailey Hayward's legs at number 9 because Reid Marnie's leaving next year. So what does that mean for right now, though? Because the form suggests that, give or take the one week they had last week, they've struggled. And even that was in the torrential wet conditions. And
we've seen how bad Manly are.
Yeah. So, like, they've made key personnel changes to a side that was flying earlier on in the year. I even look like Bailey Hayward long term. He's a gun. What's his best position? Is it 9? Is it 13? He looks like a 13 to me. Not saying he can't be a 9, but the good problem to have, but they have so many of these ball-playing 13s. The doggies in Salmon, who's there at the moment, in Kurt Mann. So it's nearly forced him into the 9 position.
Yeah.
And look, maybe number 9 is his position long-term, but he looks like a 13 to me. So I just wonder if the chopping and changing of all these combinations is taking a bit of a toll. But as you said, boys, Melbourne Storm this week, we're going to find out where they're at.
I will say, I think Bailey Hayward can do a serviceable job right now as a 9. But I've said it from the when they let Reid Marnie go, there is parts of Marnie's game that he does really well. Like, he's got pretty solid service. His line speed's outstanding. Yes, does he have some ill discipline and all that kind of stuff? But I just think that's one area where I don't know whether. Like Sorrello, I think, has just gone, I'm going to bring Hayward in, and he's going to be just as good as Reid Marnie at 9. I'm just not sure Hayward is there just yet. Can he get there? I do think he can get there, but I'm not sure. Like right now, we can go around the table. If you were about to pick a 9 for your side, who would you pick, Hayward or Marnie? I'd pick Marnie right now.
At this stage of the season, right now, having started there all year and played big minutes, I'd go Reid Marnie.
Yeah, I think going into finals, you go Reid Marnie.
And it's not saying I necessarily think Reid Marnie's a better footballer than Hayward, because you can see the raps and the doggies players and the staff and that they have on Bailey Hayward. They watch a lot more of Bailey Hayward than I have and Reid Marnie. So long term, I think it'll be a fine decision. But right now, when there's a chance to win a premiership, I think it's a huge move to make later on in the season.
Especially when your 9 is the first person to touch the ball every single set. I would even go as far as say, I think Bailey Hayward, I rate him super highly, and I think he's going to improve out of sight and be at the Bulldogs for a very long time. But even right now, I would still have Reid Marnie as a better footy player than Bailey Hayward. Not by a lot, but if I was going into round 1 right now and it didn't matter about ages and all that kind of stuff, and you were just going, who is the better number 9? I think Marnie is still a better 9 than Hayward, even though I totally get their decision to allow Marnie to move on next year and Hayward to come in and be that guy. I totally get it.
And there's a flow-on effect, right? Much like you mentioned, Rube, Tyron Wishart at the Storm and the fact that he's starting and what they lose off the bench. Bailey Hayward was unbelievable coming off the bench through the middle.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big thing for me that, I like Reid Marnie, but I hate him off the bench.
Oh, yeah, he's almost pointless.
Yeah. It's like if Queensland Origin, like if they had an injury at 9, you would only pick Reid Marnie to start. I don't think you'd pick him to come off the bench. I think it should be the same here. I think Bailey Hayward, I love him. I'm very biased towards him. I think him in 14 is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think especially coming into finals time where he's trying to challenge them and get a reaction out of them. And Reid.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair.
And then Bailey Hayward, full off season as a number 9.
It'd be great. It'd be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think you got Marnie, who used to lead their line speed, and then Hayward would come on and help lead the line speed.
If they're going to stick with Bailey Hayward at 9, which they've made the decision, I'd imagine they probably will, do you just drop Reid Marnie? Because I don't think they need him on the bench there.
It is a bit of a waste. Like, if you're being ruthless and you're not even thinking about, respect and, all that, stuff in regards to Marnie, I probably wouldn't, because you've got guys like Kurt Mann that can play 9 at a pinch.
They don't need Reid Marnie on the bench.
I don't think they need him.
Hayward.
Yeah, so whether you think Hayward's better at 9 or Reid at 9, I think a decision probably needs to be made there. Because Marnie's just does it. He builds thing in the game. Like, he's not an explosive number 9 that can come on like Harry Grant and just blow things apart. But yeah, in regards to their forward pack, so my concern with the Dogs is this. Okay, so for a lot of this game, they were just getting physically dominated. And granted, the Bulldogs hung in there for the first half really, really well. But especially in the second half, and stay with me here because it sounds a little bit silly, but when you're doing a kick chase, essentially anyone can be really good at kick chasing. You don't need to be a physical specimen to be a good kick chaser. So, for example, kick out. He does these great kick chases, but he uses that energy on something that someone else could do. And I wonder whether, instead of him doing all these crazy kick chases, get him in the middle taking hit-ups to give you guys some momentum, because he was the only guy in that forward pack that could go toe-to-toe with the middle of the Roosters. And I just wonder whether they're wasting his talent by going, mate, we need you to be this mad kick chaser when anyone can do that, and bring him into the middle and start making him take tough hit-ups to give him momentum. I'm not saying take him off an edge because you need him in attack, but I'm just saying, listen, if he's not fit enough to be able to kick chase hard but also get back and do crazy hit-ups, why not just have someone else do that crazy kick chase that isn't a physical specimen? And that's a way you could solve this issue of not having a big explosive alpha dog through the middle. I just think there's something that needs to happen there, because right now this forward pack, I just don't know if it's in a finals game against the Penrith Panthers. I just reckon they're probably going to get physically dominated.
I don't mind it. I spoke to someone at Canterbury at the start of the year that sort of suggested kick hours a year or two away from sort of transitioning into the middle. And I kind of feel like before next season, until Leo Thompson probably arrives, I do feel like they are lacking a little bit of punch through there. But I also just love what kick out does on the edge.
Oh, it's incredible. And so I don't want to take him off the edge because he's beautiful hands. He creates momentum for him. I'm just saying, in games where you can feel them getting squeezed the life out of him, you put kick out and just say, mate, I'm hitting you, hit under the line behind the ruck, run as hard as you can. He's gonna find his front. You're gonna get a quick play the ball.
Because I feel the other side to it as well is I think Josh Curran did a really good job last year through the middle. I don't feel like he's had the same impact this year.
Yep.
Maybe Curran out to an edge.
Yeah. He's a perfect guy to do kick chase. He suits it, do all the shit work, and he loves that stuff. Again, it's shit. The reason why I'm talking about the kick chase is what I'm trying to say is that obviously if you're doing crazy kick chases, you can't expect him to go back into the middle and then take 15 hit-ups a game. You're going to have to find a way to balance it. Because I just look at Max King, Hughes, and then you've got Harry Hayes. When you compare that to White, Lenu, Collins, it's a bit of a jump. Whereas kick-out against Spencer or kick-out against White, kick-out against Collins, I'm backing kick-out at least 50% of the time to win that battle. So just something food for
the only
thought.
other front row forwards, if you look at the reserve grade side, Saluka Fafita started in the front row. The other front row was Curtis Morin.
Jeez. Yeah. Wow. And again, in regards to their front row, they're good front rowers, but there are different types of front rowers. There's the guys that, there's Jensen at the Broncos, and then there's Haas, and then there's, so just different types. And Max King, he's a up and down, get through his work. Sam Hughes, similar. And so I think that's a real area that I think Leo Thompson will fill that gap great. It's going to be interesting next year. I tell you what, if they can land Tino, that would fucking go a very long way as well.
Jeez.
But yeah, that was just something I was watching. I was like, if I was a coach watching how much we're getting physically dominated, what would I do to combat that? And I felt like that would be a really quick fix for him. Might be a bit silly, and I'm sure there's reasons why he wouldn't do it. Outside of that, what else did you think was a problem for Bulldogs?
One thing that got exposed is, a bit like we spoke about in the Panthers Storm game, defending kicks on the wing. And obviously the Dogs are going to play against the Storm this weekend. They've got Coates there. Daniel Tupou got a hat-trick in this game. 2 of those were off kicks. They're probably going to go that exact same game plan, you would imagine. Very tough kind of thing to match or fix quickly. But, I think they got exposed a little bit under the high ball on the weekend.
It was one of the great mismatches.
Yeah.
And it was just it tore them to shreds. I think they scored 3 tries off kicks at least down that edge on Polidori Tuala. And Tuala, he just didn't look to compete at all. From the second it went up, you could just see him watching Tupou, and he's just going, I'm just going to try and make the tackle and not worry about making this difficult for him to catch. And the problem was, because the king game of Sam Walker is so precision, the positions he was putting in, he catches it and falls over the line. So if you're a winger and you're taking that mentality of, all right, I'll let them catch it and then I'll defend them, it needs to be a bit deeper, 5-10 out, where you have room to get people to come in and help you out. But he was just falling over the line, and it was really poorly managed, and they need to do something about it because he was just overwhelmed by it. He was,
Well, they've got obviously Kiraz on one wing. Kiraz on one wing, who you would back. Okay, yep, he's probably a top tier defensive winger. But on the other wing, they've either got Jethro, who's a rookie. And he's not short by any stretch, but he's definitely... he doesn't have a bloody thing, though. They've got Tuala. Who would you put there, do you think?
Well, they've got... So, Xavier Coates is going to be on Tuala next week if they keep it as is. Xavier Coach will score a hat trick, in cruise control off
I'm going
what
3 or more.
Tyler did.
I'm going 3 or more.
It would not shock me if Cameron Tyler sees that. If he wants to keep Tyler in the team, who's been good to this point, but he was caught out on the weekend.
Kiraz across.
If Kiraz swaps for this game, because they'll win it off crossfield kicks to Coach. Honestly,
I'd be giving Critter the job.
Just put him out there in the
For those players, you shift out there.
Yeah.
You take him on head
Don't mind that. Don't mind that at all, actually, because you're going to have to deal with the Roosters, obviously Tupou, Coates at the Storm, Raiders. You're pretty sweet. Penrith, pretty sweet. So
Milky Jenkins, he can actually get up there.
Milky Jenkins, he's all right.
Yeah.
That's a good shout there because Critter, we know how good he is athletically.
the only problem becomes. What if they shifted on last tackle and then you've now got Critter defending on the wing, Tyler at centre? That becomes an issue. So
Waller has played a bit of centre.
Oh, yeah, they can do it.
Yeah.
So, Matt, maybe it is the fix. I see what you're saying. I think more likely they'll just go, all right, Kiraz, you switch over.
Because Tuala's I think he's been good, obviously, outside of that. Yeah, it's a good point. Because, as I said, you're either going to have to get through the Storm at least to get to a grand final. So you're going to have to fix it at some point.
I reckon it's going to be the most typical Storm thing of all time. We're going to talk about Xavier all week. And Ellie Katoa's going to get under 2 kicks and crossover.
Yeah, that'd be right.
I guess the other one, Marcelo Montoya, he's listed due back around 25, so a bigger body there. That does change a bit.
And that is an area like we just talked about physicality when Montoya's bringing strong as anything. So that could actually be a real boon for them when it comes to dealing with some physical sides.
They need him back for this battle.
Yeah, absolutely. Outside of that, I'm just trying to have a look. I thought Burton started the game really well. I thought he probably faded a little bit towards the end of the game, but I thought he was pretty solid.
That just an individual play, but that kick.
Oh my God,
hit,
bro!
Holy shit,
bro! He's got the biggest boot we've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's easy. Who's ever had a bigger boot than him?
Yeah,
hard to
it's actually insane.
There was one in Q Cup that I saw a highlight of on the weekend that went I think it got up to about 90 metres.
Jesus.
Large, yeah.
Okay, now I want to talk about Lockie Galvin, but not from a perspective of he's brought in or just from his actual game. It's hard. He was great last week, so it's hard to be. I'm not being hypercritical of this role he plays, but do we feel like is he playing to his strengths by being a conservative 7 that doesn't really do what he does? For example, when he was signed, a lot of us said, "Where does he play? He's a 6." He's been put into 7 and basically been given the role of just get Burton the ball. I just wonder, are you wasting look, they probably build into it where he gets to a point where he will be able to do what he does best. But sometimes I feel like it looks unnatural for him to be doing what he's doing. I don't know, just a question I've got.
It's a tough one because me watching him at the Tigers, I sort of thought they lent in a little bit too much to him.
Yeah.
Whereas Canterbury, I think you're leaning out of his strengths.
Yeah.
But you've brought him in there to fit in with the winning structure they've got. You don't want to flip everything on its head. To be honest, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the balance is, and I'm not sure if Canterbury know.
Yeah, because I just watch him. I'm like, there's a lot of times you can tell he just wants to do his thing, but he pulls his head back. He does his job for the team, and I know he missed the tackle on White or whatever, but mate, no one's tackling White there. But yeah, I just wonder, are they going to have enough time to get the best out of Galvin? I'm not sure. I don't know.
I think a side that's been top 4 all season has had so much success. To give him the licence to play what is probably most natural to Lockie Galvin, and that's running around like a headless chook both sides of the field, getting touches whenever he wants. You're just throwing everything you've built out the window too late in the season for me. I think you continue to let him do what he's doing, and he sort of plays to more of a structured role, and it's about creating space for particularly the blokes outside him, namely Critter. And look, maybe you can give him a little bit more of a licence just to sweep down the left edge and get a few more touches there. We saw him set up that try, the match winner, a few weeks back now. But I think next year, and you have a full pre-season to work on it, that's when you tinker with things. All right, do we give him a licence to play a bit more footy and play what's natural to him? But this year, in a window where, whilst it's closing a little bit, there's this door to a premiership, I don't think you want to blow it all up.
And I'm with you, so I agree with you, but I guess, my playing devil's advocate, why not just have Sexton in there then? He's got a better kicking game. You know what I mean? I know why they don't have him in there, but I just feel like if you brought him in to be a better version of Sexton, is there ways to give him? But I'm with you. You don't want to change too much. Could you do something like, I don't know, just call it a G set or a Galvin set, and you say, mate, for this set, do whatever you want.
Yeah, sure.
Just for one set, and then go back into the system. Maybe they're too conservative with their system.
What I do like away from and I think you're right, because they are a pretty conservative system, and they back their plays and their coaching and all that sort of thing, and they're disciplined to get a job done. Maybe it is becoming a bit predictable, but we spoke about it last week, Roo, but Stephen Crichton, even with Connor Tracy back, he still played a little bit of that hybrid role. Not as much as he did when Kiraz was at fullback, but we saw him, he set up a try or a line breaker's assist or something early on in this game. That's something that's going to shake up their attack quite substantially, and it just, for oppositions trying to defend it, when critters chime in different spots, it's a wild card. I like it.
I'm with you. I just, on the weekend though, like their attack looked pedestrian. Yeah. Like they were just like out the back. And Rob Toyer was just like, mark the short runner, slide out, thanks for coming. And I just, I don't know, like I wonder whether with Sexton, they seem to at least, I don't know, maybe people are doing more video, I'm not sure. But yeah, I just looked at Galvin, I'm like, you've got this young gun in the team to make it better, but right now he's essentially playing, at least for this game, he's essentially just playing like Sexton was.
Not that we needed stats to prove it in any way, shape or form, but Galvin played 10 games for the Tigers this year. He ran for over 100 metres in 8 of them. He's played 9 games for Canterbury. He's run for over 100 metres in 3 of them.
Yeah, so different. So different.
But I also think, mate, like with Canterbury this year, they made the decision to bring Galvin in, and I don't think it's fair to say they'd given up on this season by any means, but I think they knew they were making a sacrifice for this season, for the future.
Yeah,
and I think this is part of where I don't think there's any point in Canterbury getting 3 weeks out and going, fuck it, let the kid hand him the keys, let him do whatever the hell he wants, we'll work around him. It's like, no, we've got a plan that was long-term. If we had a short-term plan, you don't move Sexton. Let him stay there. So, you know, I know Canterbury fans, obviously, they want to win a comp this year, but I think you look at the long-term.
Yeah. What about you, mate? Anything else on the Bulldogs?
No, I think you kind of covered it off pretty well there. I mean, you know, you touched on Serrato's comments talking about players that are a little bit injured and what have you, and whether, you know, Galvin probably falls into that camp. He's got the busted hand at the moment. So maybe we do see Sexton again in the not too distant.
If his hand doesn't get right, because I do think his hand played a part in why White could bump him the way he did, because you could see him go to wrap the underhook and he just hesitated with that grip. I'm not making excuses for him, but he does have a fucking broken hand. Like, it's not. It exists. Anyway, interesting. Just something I was just, at least for this game, at least since he's probably been brought in, that he had one game where he overplayed his hand, another game where he was good, solid last week, and then this week he just looked like he was a bit, I don't know, didn't feel comfortable in the role. Outside of that, with the doggies, it's all about this week for them, because I don't think they can afford to go. If they go loss against top tier sides, if you consider Roosters one, I just think that might rattle their confidence heading into finals footy. Like, they'll always have in the back of their head, like, shit, like, this is going to be a tough finals run.
So what have they got? They've got Melbourne this week, then they play Penrith, and then into Sharky. It's a bit of a scary run home.
And if you get done by Melbourne and Penrith, like, it's...
Well, if Penrith would have won that game the other night, all of a sudden Canterbury, like, you're going, okay, it's top 4 locked in.
That controversial decision at the end, that changed so much.
It's flipped the whole competition. As far as the season of the Bulldogs and the Warriors, it changes everything.
So hopefully they can bounce back. I tell you what, it's a tough time to be bouncing back, though, with that they've got. And the thing with the Sharks is, like, you just don't know what's going to turn up. It could be the top 4 Sharks that we thought was start of the year, or it could be fucking... You don't know. And
we'll get to them very soon. But, mate, they've got a bye this week. So they're on 30 competition points right now. That'll put them on 32. Like that, if you chuck that bye into the Sharks' points now, that'll put them on the same points as the Warriors, and they've got better for and against than them. So the Sharkies are closer to a top 4 finish than what
That's so weird,
as well. Bro. And they don't have a tough run home. Yeah. Canterbury do. New Zealand are worrying. They're running out of players, essentially. And Panthers play the Raiders this week. Like, Broncos are without their halves. Sharkies are a little bit closer than what it seems.
Could you imagine if they sneak into the 4 somehow, some way? Like,
it's not that crazy.
Yeah, mate, I'm with you. I'm with you. What a weird year. Okay, on to the Roosters. Mate, what a performance. The only negative for the Roosters is that last 15 minutes just seems to be their Achilles heel, where the amount of games where they've been winning by a substantial margin, and then that last 15 minutes they just go, fuck it, and just start making silly errors. And whether it's an energy thing, whether it's a concentration thing, I'm not sure. But that's being nitpicky, because outside of that, Roosters were outstanding. In the second half, they missed one tackle in 30 minutes. And I think by the end of it, it was only 3 tackles for the entire second half.
Incredible.
Just their defence on the weekend was absolutely phenomenal. They just completely frustrated the Dogs, where it got to the point where you could almost feel the Bulldogs as they were making their plays, knowing it wouldn't work. And Toya on Sherry, Toya locked him up just all night long. Took that lead runner, slid out. Took that lead runner, slid out. He was just so good. White, outstanding. The thing with the Roosters is they've found their groove now. They've really found their identity as a side. And yes, it is very typical of the Roosters. They get to this part of the year, they start playing really good footy. So Trent Robinson, once again, the end of season push. But it does really feel like they've clicked into their identity as okay, this is how we win footy matches, which is hyper aggression and lean on Sam Walker to make things happen for us.
Yeah, when you say the hyper aggression there, I reckon Robbo would have had a conversation with Radley at some point this week and said, kick out, your job.
Your job. He was so good.
Fuck, he was good on him.
Just remind you, Victor Radley's one of the most interesting stories ever. If you just started watching League now, you would think he was almost just a really good, solid first grader. Mate, go back 5 years, 6 years, this kid was the next big superstar. And had some really good years. Then he struggled with some head knocks and some injuries. But when he plays at his best, he is one of the better forwards in the competition.
Yeah, and you mentioned it a few weeks ago about Angus Crichton, his form. I reckon he was listening.
He must have been.
Mate, his last 2 or 3 weeks is not getting back to last year's form, but heading in that direction.
Way better.
Yeah.
Because I would say it's been a bit of a down year for Angus Crichton, but he just looks more. He looks like that. As I agree with you, mate. Not on the same level, but just that aggression he had last year, where he was going into contact, trying to hurt people. So I'm with you, mate. Who stood out for you, Timmy, with the Roosters?
Just shows how long the season is, where you're on recent form, you're looking at the Roosters going, how good are they playing? And they're still scrapping to get into the top 8 and play finals footy. This side that we saw what they produced on the weekend, it was a long time ago that they were, basically people writing him off. But as you sort of said, Sammy Walker, just how quickly he's come back into the fold and how quickly players have gelled with him as well. And I just want to shout out his goal kicking, 97% for the season. He's 32 of 33. And I remember early on in his career, he came into grade and was goal kicking and hitting.
He couldn't make the distance from the wing.
He was terrible.
His technique, I remember asking him on the potty, I was like, I can't remember what he said changed, but he literally struggled to make the distance from when he kicked on the edges.
Well, his first year he was in the 60-odd%, and then the 2 years after, 76 and 77, not bad, up to 82% last year. This year, 97%. The only one he missed was off the post last week. He's hitting them unbelievably.
I would imagine too, you're a goalkeeper, you probably talk more about it, to do that off an ACL is insane.
Because body gets all you just feel strange. Whenever you have a long-term injury, doesn't matter, it could be a shoulder, it could be a knee. When you go back to run the first time, it just feels weird because everything is out of balance. Everything is so... For him to be doing what he's doing now, this quickly off an ACL, is actually insane. It's actually insane. His short kicking game, it's up there with the best ever do it. Maybe it's not the best. You look at guys like Joey, Alfie Langer and that, but fuck... I don't know if we can get much better, to be honest.
It's so unique.
Yeah.
The way he just bends his legs around and gets in behind the defensive line and just hits these angles I've never seen anyone hit before.
Yeah. And these usual paths that aren't open because you're used to certain rhythms as a defence, he finds them because he's working at this different kind of speed and rhythm.
His own lanes.
Yeah. It just... the angle of the kick will be he'll hook it around, he'll go short.
And it puts fullbacks in weird spots because you've never prepared for them like that.
And this is what he's doing now. What's he going to do in 5 years? If he's got this much feel for the game, short kicking wise now, it's going to be in 5 years' time.
I think it's a really good example of, you see a lot of star kids come through the grades and they get chucked into systems and they're forced to be a certain way, play a certain way, fit to this structure. Whereas Samuel came into first grade, I think it was 2020, and the Roosters, we're fucked. You do your thing. We'll work around you. And then they kept leaning into him, and I think every time they try and build too much structure around him, it goes to shit.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that Robbo's just. I mean, the DCE signing scares me from this front, but I think you're looking at a Sam Walker just going, we just build our game around. Are we going to be able to beat Penrith, Melbourne? I don't know. That's my biggest concern with the Roosters this year. But I think you just got to play to his style.
Well, I put it this way: like, are you going to beat Penrith and Melbourne in their style of rugby league? Like, probably not. They just don't have that kind of roster. But can you do it with a point of difference that these systems aren't designed for? Like, the system isn't designed for a short kicking game of Sam Walker. The system's designed for a short kicking game of Adam Reynolds, of Benny Hunt, guys that are relatively conservative kickers. And so, like, maybe that is the difference. Even though Roosters have struggled notoriously against Penrith Panthers, but, like, I don't know, maybe it is. Like, they were going toe-to-toe with the Storm for quite a while there down at Storm before Harry Grant took them over the line. Surely Robbo has just gone, no, okay, we need to lean all the way in with Sam Walker. Honestly, if you aren't willing to lean all the way with Sam Walker at the Roosters, they should let him go. Because his point, you shouldn't even have him at the club. What's the point of having Sam Walker play conservative footy that's not good? Just play his footy and it gets you into finals. Like, they play way better when they lean into Sam Walker's footy.
Does a DCE signing suggest they're leaning back out?
Surely he just says to DC, if you're going to come here, you're second fiddle and you're a six. Like, surely. I know that sounds weird. I get it, guys. I don't think, if I was the Roosters, I wouldn't have signed him. But that's the only way I can see it working.
Yeah, I think you've got.
Hugo's been outstanding.
You got everything, like everything you're going to get out of DC at 5'8". Like, obviously there's experience in it, but I think Hugo Savala right now is playing better footy than what Daly Cherry Evans is.
Mate, Hugo has been phenomenal so far this year. He plays like he's 30 years old and got 200 games under his belt.
Yeah.
So calm.
The DC stuff, like, hindsight's a great thing because things have changed. And at the start of the year, Ches was one of the best halfbacks coming into the competition. And look, maybe change the scenery, he can rediscover that. But him and Sammy Walker do not complement each other. Savala, I think, has probably exceeded expectations in his first year in the NRL and how well him and Sammy Walker complement each other. Even you mentioned how elite Sammy Walker's short kicking game is. He doesn't have the biggest boot in the world. Savala does have a big boot on him. They're perfect for each other. You throw onto that as well, Sandon Smith, who I've been raving about all season, and I think it's a mistake if they lose him. The Roosters in Cup against Bears on the weekend were down 24-22 or 24-16 or something. Sandon Smith scored 2 tries in the last 13 minutes and won in the game. Like, I do not see... They don't need Ches, put it that way.
He took a shot at field goal to win that game. He got charged down. Another player scooped it up and he just hit this gap through the middle of everything and burst through. Just those instincts that he's got. Incredible.
And the fact that he can be your 14. He can play several different positions. I just think his best spot is the starting 6. But
well, that's why surely you could put Watson as the starting 13 next year. Bradley on one edge, Crichton on the other, White in the front row with Collins or... Am I missing anyone? You know
Robson
what I mean?
at 9.
So Robson at 9, Connor Watson at 13, Radley on one edge.
You're missing Wong.
Wong, I could have Wong off the bench. Sorry.
took that personally.
Never said anything about your family.
That's good. I don't know. I'm with you, Timmy. Look, the Raiders look like interested, so that's interesting. Now we've got to talk about my GOAT. Daniel Tupou. That's my guy. That's my guy. Bruh, is he serious? I'll say it till the day I die. They'll literally be like, my wife will be like, say something to your kids before you die. And I'll be like, Daniel Tupou as I die.
Underrated.
I was about to flip the table if you said underrated.
Yeah. And on my tombstone, I'll say Daniel Tupou was underrated. What do you think, mate? The big fella.
You're not wrong.
Am I Wong?
You're not Wong. You're not Sia Wong. Because they went to him repeatedly on the weekend. Obviously, we spoke about his threat. He poses, as an aerial threat. So he got a hat-trick on the weekend. He's got 182 tries overall now. Next one ahead of him is Billy Slater,
Hasn't
190.
that snuck up on everyone?
Yeah.
Like, if you had said at the start of this year that Daniel Tupou will go down as one of the greatest try tools of all time, most people would have said, what are you talking about? Like, it's just amazing.
Yeah. So he could be on the podium, probably not this year, but he's extended for another year as well. He's playing some great footy.
Surely.
Playing some great footy at the moment, Daniel Tupou. So he was very impressive on Friday. And, just the target. It's like he wound back the clock, just sitting on blokes' heads, scoring meat pies. It was good stuff.
So freaking good. So 3 tries, 108 metres, 31 post contact, 3 tackle breaks, a line break. he just keeps doing the damn thing for so many years. Like, I'm trying to think, when was the last year where he didn't have a good year? 16 or something?
Weird, I don't have the stats in front of me, so someone else look it up. I reckon he scored his least amount of tries in a bizarre season. It was one of the years they won the comp. It was like 2018 or something.
He's probably on the other wing compared to the...
Well, I think because Blake Ferguson had a lights out year that year, he was incredible. But I think he scored double digits try every year except 18, is it?
Yeah, no, happy to do your heavy lifting for you, mate.
About fucking time.
20
Take a carry occasionally.
Did you have any chance of doing your own research? Or?
Was I
Can
wrong?
someone else look it up for me?
Was I wrong?
2018, 8 tries.
What's his average meters and tries been for the last 5 years? Please, sir.
You taking the mickey?
You've fucking got it in front of you.
I need to average it out. I need to get it.
Don't you have the years in front of you? Surely it should be. It's in the NRL thing.
Oh, I thought you meant like across the 5 years. 169, 168, 182, 156, 180, which is since 2018. He's been 163 plus every year.
Wow.
156 in 2022. So yeah, good going.
Jeez, that's good. And what about tries each year? Do you have that by any chance there, Tim?
Yeah, I do. It's all here. 18, 21, 10, 16, 15, 11, 15. Anything else?
So he got his offloads?
Got everything.
What colour undies was he wearing?
Green, white, yellow.
Mate, when you think about it, like if you're a winger that's averaging essentially 160 metres a year plus about, we'll just say 15 tries a year, like, fuck, that's just so good. That's a good year for most wingers. He's doing it every year.
Him and Lomax go head to head this week.
Ooh.
That'll be a cracker.
Wow.
I got a feeling Mark might get a bit more targeted, but
yeah, okay. Mark, he had a few little bobbles this game, a few little silly flick passes or whatever. I think with Nwanga into Arce, obviously you don't want these things to happen, but he is so hectic that I'm almost like, if he has this once every 6 weeks, I'll cop it. You know, a game where he has a couple of errors, little flick pass here or there. I just think he's so good that you just go, okay, as long as it's not game after game after game, I'm okay.
I think you get more good than bad with Mark.
Oh, for sure.
And the stuff you get is
fucking crazy. Yeah. Spoke about it earlier, but Rob Toya, mate, his defence is like obviously Critter's the best defensive centre in the competition, but Toya's not that far off. He absolutely locks blokes up. We obviously saw how well he went in Origin. He has just been so good in defence for the Roosters and just locked up that edge for him. Like, just been outstanding. So that centre pairing of Smith and Toya, they got a lot of growth in them, and if they could be together for the next 5-6 years, you know, the pairing could be a real bloody good one for them long term. So I guess we'll see what happens. Anyone else out of that, guys, that went all right for you?
Last one, I just thought Egan Butcher coming off the bench. He played about 40 minutes. He was really solid in this game for the Chooks.
Okay, Sharkies absolutely thump the Titans. And I know your first reaction is like, oh, man, it's just the Titans. But you can only play what's in front of you. This is brought to you by Squarespace. Join the Bloke Club to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Also, Aussie Footy Shorts with Aussie Footy Shorts and Bloke collaboration is now live. Go to Aussie Footy Shorts website, grab Footy Shorts with pockets, limited edition designs. Once they're gone, they're gone. Okay, Sharkies thump the Titans. I mean, this was an outstanding game from Nico Hines. Obviously, I think there's like one intercept or whatever. Outside of that, I thought Nico Hines was phenomenal. Towards the end, really disappointing. They allowed 22 points to be scored or like the last late tries. But this is exactly what the Sharks needed. Just a big win, get some confidence. As I said, yep, it is against the Titans. I get it. Am I sitting here saying, oh, yep, they're definitely a premiership favourite? No, but they play what was in front of them. They won 54-22. It's a big win. Boys?
Yeah, I think it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not season defining for the Sharkies. It doesn't really change my mind in any way, shape or form, but they got a football team out in front of them. They did what they should have done to them.
Yep.
Gave it to them. I think 54-22 is a compliment to the Titans. Scored tries late. I thought that Hiroti coming in to replace Raymond, I thought he was outstanding. I felt like he was the only dude that didn't score a try in this game, but I thought he was brilliant at right centre. Did some really nice things.
Mate, he's been great ever since he's come in, to be honest. Their ability to find an outside back, Jesus Christ.
They lose like Jesse Raymond, who's obviously gone for the rest of the regular season. They've lost Kale Iro, and their production line of just meter-eating centres is unreal. Another one goes, another one steps up. Like, I think he was over 213 metres in this game, Hiroti. doing it on the other edge that he played at earlier in the year, geez, they've got a few of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess it's a good thing with this depth because it's being tested. Ido gone, Ramian gone. And then you've obviously got Dykes is still injured, is he? Or is he playing his ACL last year?
Still. I think he's injured still.
I think he's season, isn't he?
Pretty sure.
So the fact that they've still got some resis that are injured, because is it Leeson, the other young fella that's coming through? He's also injured?
Ison.
Yes.
Ison.
Yeah.
And they still can manage to find a guy like Hiroti in their top squad. It's pretty impressive, super impressive. As I said, so yeah, with the Sharkies, I got to say, I thought Toby Rudolph was one of his better games. Like, I understand against the Titans, I get it, guys, we understand that. But I thought it was one of his better games, Toby Rudolph at the front there. And they're going to need someone to pick up some slack if they are to improve and actually be a genuine premiership threat. Because if you shut down Adam Fanor-Blake at the moment, you're pretty much shutting down the team. So yeah, I thought Toby Rudolph was pretty good.
Yeah, and once again, we spoke about it a few weeks ago with Toby Rudolph, but had he not made that try-saving tackle against the Dolphins a few weeks ago, we're not having this conversation about Sharks maybe being top 4. We're not having a conversation about them having a home final. So those little things, they stack up. I think he's been really good the back half of the year, Toby Rudolph.
Yeah, definitely done his job, and he's doing probably what you're paying him to do as well.
Yep.
Who else stood out for you guys, Timmy?
Yeah, I mean, I just think probably looking at Nicho Hines, who was outstanding in this game, it's just another example of him being such a confidence player at times. And it's not to say that, like, when he's on, and when he's off, because it's not that he plays awfully bad games. It's just that he can go into his shell a little bit when the confidence is down. And from very early on in the game, he kicked over the top. He saw AJ Brimson out of place, regathered, scored, and you went, boom, little light goes on in his brain. He goes, I'm on today. And he goes on to produce a masterclass. He was in absolutely everything good they did. So it's just trying to give this level of confidence to Nicho each and every week, regardless of opposition, because when he's on, he's brilliant. You know that. But, it's now looking like probably they're going to need to go, whether they're premiership contenders, probably not, but they'll probably finish in that sort of 5th, 6th spot, maybe an early home final come finals time. But yeah, they need Nicho to be on every week if they're going to make a charge to a grand final.
Yeah, that chip and chase was pretty special.
Awesome.
Unreal. Yeah. And look, the Sharkies, very good in this game. And I said before, like, it doesn't move the needle on where I sit with them. I think, unfortunately, boys, Cam McInnes being ruled out for the season, I think that does move the needle for me.
Yeah, he's so big for them.
I didn't have Sharks as contenders to win this comp, but when you get to September, he almost becomes one of your most important players all of a sudden. Without him, especially now that you've got Britt Nikora, he won't return until finals week 1. Ramian, sounds like he could return potentially in the finals at some point there. Cam McInnes is an enormous loss for this side, though.
Oh, mate, absolutely. Like, is he a attacking weapon like a Yo or whatever, but defensively, the amount of cleanup this bloke does through the middle, especially when you got like AFB, who is solid in defence, but he's known for his attack, AFB. So really, like, Rudolph's not known for his defence, AFB not known for his defence, Hazelton not known for his defence. So, like, most of these middle forwards, he's the guy. He is taking care of everything. And so I just, like, who do you put there?
Well, my automatic answer is him.
Yeah.
But do you need a ball-playing 13 in this side? You already have enough trouble balancing out your halves. Do you need to throw in another aspect to work out there? 3 weeks, they've got to buy this week, 2 weeks away from finals. Or do you just lean all into it and go, let's just try and outscore sides?
I'd probably lean more towards defence, I guess. But in saying that, are they going to outgrind sides? Probably not. So I guess the more logical but riskier play would be maybe we just go all out attack, because they're not going to grind any sides out of, like, any top tier sides out, I don't think.
Well, you don't have a like for like for Cam McInnes. So whatever if you want to lean into defence, like, I think, sure, you're leaning into it, but you're getting nowhere near where you were.
Yeah.
I kind of lean towards, let's just go all in on attack.
Yeah, and win games, 30 to 22 or something.
See what happens.
As like just having a ball play. I mean, the thing about it is they play very expansive. They love to use the ball side to side. So to have another link between Trindle and Nicho could be a masterstroke.
It could be. It's just 2 weeks of another change. You've got 2 weeks to prepare before finals. Then you're playing a sudden death game. It's just, I don't know. But I guess the silver lining of that is you got a bye week this week. You have got 2 weeks to be able to work out your combos. But yeah.
Hammy, what do you think of the Sharkies, mate?
Yeah, they were humming on the weekend. You're right, McInnes is big out, Rube, but yeah, they're actually still worth a look to make the top 4. They could scrape in. They've obviously got a bye, and then they've got the Knights, and the Dogs haven't been going that good lately. So there's potentially 6 points on the table there coming their way, which could see them jump up in there. In terms of players I thought were good for them on the weekend, I actually thought both the centres were good. And, they've had to chop and change the centres. They've had a lot of injuries in that department this year. But Hiroti, in particular, outstanding, over 200 metres, 78 post contact. He had a massive, massive game. And Talakai, I know he's probably best used when he comes off the bench just to provide that chaos. But when they've moved him back there in the last couple of weeks, he hasn't let him down. He's made some big hits. He's got through 150 metres plus most weeks in there, and he's also got some good little more delicate touches as well. He's been a real handful in there as well last couple of weeks.
I know he put his head kind of on the wrong side, but you do not see Tino get bumped like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's the other side of it that might not be a bad idea to think about. Once Ito returns, if he can play centre, you can play Talakai in jersey 13 to start
and
the
just
game.
say, mate,
play
go
power
skits.
forward with AFB, go nuts, then bring put it on. I don't mind that. I actually probably prefer that, but you need Ito or Ramian back to be able to do it.
Yeah, and maybe you just, you almost go like a bit of a Storm starting front row 13 where it's just power through the middle.
Well, you could, so many options. None of them great, but start one of the bigger boys at 13 for the first 15, 20, and then bring Sifa on to play through the middle for bigger minutes.
Yeah. Could you put Rudolph there, Hazelton up front, and then bring Talakai off the bench? Because Rudolph's kind of mobile. He's not...
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I will say another bloke that I thought had a really good moment, Billy Burns. He had some really good moments, really just unpredictable. Helped a couple of line breaks there. He's a guy that when he gets signed, you're kind of what's he going to bring to the... But he's just a good depth guy.
He's a first grader, Billy Burns.
Yeah.
He's not exceptional.
Yeah.
But he's a first grader. He'll do a job for you, and he has got a bit of upside.
So I guess I'm assuming he'll keep that spot until Nikita comes back.
I
he'll
don't
play it.
Anyone can take it off him. Yeah, the other one that I wouldn't mind seeing a few more minutes is this Colhoun. I think he's been really good.
They've been pretty good at developing them because Teague Wilton developed, getting better and better and better. So, hopefully they can keep that up. In regards to the 7 line breaks to 3, more tackle breaks, they actually had a less of an average set distance than the Titans, which is crazy. More kick return meters. Titans had way more offloads. So, as we kind of already said, you can't really ask much more of them. I will say they still had a pretty high error count, which they need to sort out. Even in a game where they won that much, you'd want them to be around the 80% mark. I think they were around 70. I bet 80. Okay, that's all right. But yeah, I thought Nico was definitely the standout player. I really did. That chip and chase was outstanding. Then he had a couple of other moments as well, and it's just a matter of getting that headspace with Nico and being okay with making an error here or there, because I think that if he plays too conservative, it's just not what he does. That's not what you want Nico for. You don't want Nico to be a conservative 7 that's gliding around the park. You want him at the tip of the spear, creating line breaks. So, anything outside of that, boys? Are the Sharkies?
No, as we said, boys, you said at the top of the segment, Kempy, but you can only beat what's put in front of you. And to their credit, the Titans had had a pretty good month, but in terms of the Sharkies, nothing changes for me. They're at home in a day game in the Shire. They should have been putting a score on if they're serious about doing any damage in this competition. And they did, credit to them, but let's see what they can come out and do post-bye.
Yeah, I'm with you. Just quickly on the Titans before we move on. Once again, Des Hasler moving outside backs to different sides of the field. Kinney coming on as a winger. One thing I will say, and maybe I'm in the minority here, I cannot believe they put Tino back on.
I thought he looked gone.
Yeah.
Bro, this guy is, your whole club is built around this guy. He has put his body through the absolute ringer. You're getting absolutely spanked. Why would you put him back out there? What do you gain other than risking him more by putting him back out there?
I can't believe he passed HIA.
Fucking hell. I just don't get it, bro. I just don't get what the coaches are thinking. So we're down 50 to 10. And the guy I pay $1 million, every year I invest $1 million of this company's money into this asset. And that asset, I go, you know what? It is totally pointless putting you back on the field, but I'm going to do it anyway, and that asset could get ruined. I don't get the way some coaches think.
Well, on top of that as well, with Keeney, obviously I want him to play. If you're going to pick him, You're down 18 points at half time.
Oh, bro.
Put him on the fucking field. What are we doing?
Oh, mate.
You're going to put Tino back on the field, but not put Keeney, but Keeney's well enough to pick him. Like, it's not like Keeney's a guy that's, like he might not have, the huge accolades of other fullbacks in this competition, but hot tip, you've signed him for half a decade the day he comes out of surgery. He's kind of important to you.
He's already played reserve grade, so it's not his first game back. He's fitness is not going to be an issue for him. He's a small body. I just think, we've saying it for quite a while. Unfortunately, I just don't think Desi suits the current generation of rugby league. I think it's past him. I think it's been past him for a few years now. Some of these decisions, I just like how he can expect the players, especially outside backs, to be good defensively when they are chopping and changing sides every single week. Like, and I know a lot of fans might sit back and go, "Oh, come on, mate, you're a professional athlete. You should be able to play either side." It's like, bro, when you're at this elite level, if you let's say you're 95% on the left side, that's your good side, and you're 90% on the right side, that 5% is 3 tries. Like, it's crazy. How can he expect any kind of gelling between his edgemen when he changes it every single week?
Especially like you've got 2 or 3 Origin rep players in there. One of them is Bo Thermal. You chose to play him at centre over putting Keeney on the field.
But then you bring him on at wing as well, which proves that you could have actually started him at wing because you believe he's a wing. Bruh, what are we doing, bro? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. And
I don't think the players get it either. I think there's a serious disconnect there between the two.
And look, when I look at all these, yes, players have always got to be accountable, but imagine working under a boss. Let's say you've got a certain job each week, and he literally changes it every single week for no reason other than I just want you to change it. And you've been doing it for the last, let's just say, 6 months. I think you'd be like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, I am so out on my feet. I don't know what's happening. I get changed every week. I don't have a reason for it. I just think he's just completely, his style of coaching hasn't evolved with this current generation, unfortunately, because every week, like Desi knows more about footy than all of us put together. But every week, what do we always talk about? Combinations. It's like the most basic thing about a footy team. A team of champions will get beaten by a champion team. How do you build a champion team? By building combinations. What are coaches like Ivan Cleary and Craig Bellamy always say in a press conference if they've had a loss and they've got 2 new players in key positions? They say, listen, it's going to take a bit of time to build this combination. Like, at the Titans, combinations, just who gives a fuck? Yeah. Let's just put anyone anywhere. I just don't get it, bro. I don't get it.
Does he see out the season?
I think the Titans are too nice and they'll let him, but I wouldn't. I would have just said, mate, if I'm a CEO there that knows a bit about footy, watching the way this has all been handled and looking at other clubs that have had so many injuries and we're still on the bottom of the table, look, I appreciate that the Titans are a nice club that will do that, but I would have gotten rid of him earlier.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, with 3 rounds to go, I don't think there's any point in...
No, there's no point.
Now. Like, and to be fair, like, they're awful on the weekend, but the month prior, they'd played some pretty good footy and, won a game or two and had some tight contests, but...
I mean, they got beaten by a South Side at home that had essentially reserve grades with Latrell Mitchell. They had 2 good games.
Yeah, but I mean, the floor we're talking about is they're probably going to win the wooden spoon.
But look at this roster, bro. Like, this is the roster they're rolling out.
They very easily could have beaten the Panthers. They beat the Warriors in New Zealand. They lost to the Tigers, who were playing good footy by 1. That's not a bad month of footy for the team coming last.
I also think, though, the context around that has to matter in that there's no pressure on them right now.
No.
Like, what you're like... I'm
not defending Desi at all. I'm just like...
Yeah. But like, we do tend to get to this time of the year, and I guarantee you the Titans' best stretch of footy over the last 10 years have come in the last 8 weeks of most seasons. When there's no pressure on them, they've got nothing to lose. They can throw the ball around if shit hits the wall and it sticks, good as gold.
And that's it. If they sacked Desi 6 weeks ago, I'd be like, sweet, I get it. But now it's like, I'd see out the season and then move on.
I just think it's been such a disappointing year. I think that because we've gotten used to them playing this poorly, that we've accepted like, oh crap, they were pretty good for a couple of weeks. Mate, at the start of this year, a lot of us were sitting here going, like, they might be able to make the 8. And then the year before that, a lot of us were like, I think they will make the 8. I just think it's been a disaster, unfortunately.
What do you do the last 3 games? Do you give respect to Kieran Foran, let him play at halfback? Do you start the Brimo Campbell experiment? You haven't got another halfback sign for next year. Do you utilise these 3 games to try and see what you can do?
Mate, it would just all depend on... If Desi's not our coach next year, and I do know who's my coach going to be, I'd be just asking him what do you want. And I'd just be saying to Desi, I need you to do this, this, and this. Now, Desi might just go, nah, not doing it. But I wouldn't like waste opportunities to build towards next year. But I think with the Titans is we don't know what's happening. We've got 3 games left. Is it 3? 2? 3?
3.
And we have no idea who's going to be the coach next year for preseason starts in 3 months. We don't know who the coach is going to be for the Titans next year.
Yep. And because it's not a terrible roster, they're going to have a lot of guys playing international footy and whatnot. They're going to come back a lot later.
Yeah. It's a schmozzle. We have no idea who's going to be the coach. You've got the key player saying he's going to the open market. Mate, it's just a disaster, seriously. Anyway, sorry, Titans fans, but I get frustrated because I look at that roster and go, mate, this is a good, exciting roster that just hasn't worked.
There's some chat a week or two ago that there might be Kevin Des. Is that?
Yeah, so after the Penrith game, whispers came out. That just proves how bad this place is run at the moment. The fact that, look, maybe it's not true, so apologies if it's not true, but if it is true that they were thinking about changing their mind after 2 good games, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, and if the next 3 games, I think they play Seabus, Suncorp, Seabus, they don't leave Queensland. I don't care. I don't care what happens.
Neither. Don't care. Neither. They could win every game 13 plus. Don't care.
It's not pat on the back. Oh, maybe it'll be okay. It's a train wreck.
It's been he got announced in 2023 mid-year, I think. We're finishing 25 now, and they've gotten worse and worse and worse. I just hope they can land a good coach. The administration backs them all the way in. The administration gets on board with the new vision, and they go all in on it. None of this, allowing players to sign with other clubs, then backflip and come back, and playing players overs, and build from within. Be willing to cop a couple of wooden spoons, and then build into what you need to build in. Because if they try and band-aid this and go, oh no, we'll come 10th next year and that's all good, this is going to be the Titans for the next 20 years. They need to be able to go, okay, let's win a couple of spoons and just rebuild this whole club from the ground up. That's the only way they're going to have any long-term success, in my opinion.
Yep.
Okay, on to the next game. Broncos have a big comeback against the Dolphins, brought to you by the Bloke Club. Members get 20% off their grumpy coffee. We got some Father's Day stuff, guys. And also, don't forget, brought to you by Aspley Mazda and Luke Camilleri. Broncos win 38-28. And about 10 minutes after halftime, I had already got my thoughts together, and I was like, a tough team has beaten a non-tough team. This Broncos team is not tough. And then somehow, some way, they pulled it out of the fire and showed that they can be tough when they want to be tough. So obviously toughness is still their probably biggest hurdle that the Broncos need to face, but they did pull it out of the fire. They came together, showed a bit of ticker, a bit of mongrel, got the win. I will say it is a Dolphins that's decimated, guys. So if you're a Broncos fan thinking, oh, look, we're back and we're good to go, this Dolphins side was punching way above its weight, but they did find a way to get the win. Good on them.
I thought when Jeremy Marshall-King scored, your season was over.
Yep.
I thought it was done.
Mate, I'm with you,
when
bro.
they put up the live ladder and you were in 9th.
Yep.
I just wonder if they saw that. It was... and it was just so typical Broncos. And then you go on a 10-minute run that, as I said earlier in the show, I thought Ben Hunt really inspired that. I think he really amped them up, where you just scored some incredible tries. It was wild. I think it was the Dean Mariner try was a cracker. Then obviously the Karapani try, the kick over there. Ben Tulsi's having a great month or so there. What an incredible story that is.
Yeah, 100%.
North Sydney up there to scoring tries for Brisbane.
Called in mid-year because of an injury? No, because Tapua left. Yeah.
He's probably going to play finals footy now, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's been good, mate. He comes on, just does his job.
Yeah. I thought Brisbane were done and dusted in this game, and then I guess it's the double-edged sword, mate, that you can do amazing things, but you still just do it for 80 minutes.
Mate, just give me one 80-minute performance and I'll die happy. What do you reckon, Timmy?
It was just the Broncos summed up, wasn't it?
Oh, mate.
The brilliance, bit of ticker there, but also some poor defence. They entertaining. Holy shit, it was a fun game to watch.
Oh,
they had a bit of everything. They just had brilliant tries. Whether or not you're sort of happy about it being placed moving forward. I mean, it was a good response from the injury impacted game down in Melbourne, but I don't know what you make of it. It's almost a bit like the Sharkies, where you go, does this change much moving forward? Maybe
not really. I think most people sit here and go, listen, Broncos have 80 minutes where they're going to upset someone, and they're probably going to get beaten, absolutely dominated the next game.
Yeah, like they have the Knights next week, and I'm kind of sitting here going, like, they should beat them 13 plus, but they could also lose to them. And, I mean, for what it's worth, the Dolphins have been bloody good all year. They just look broken, don't they?
They just ran out of steam, I think. I think they got a bit of a buzz from those first two tries, and then Broncos just had, I think Payne Haas came on after that second try, and I think they were just like, fuck, this guy's just the momentum he brings is just too much for us. Smart from Maguire. Usually Payne Haas comes on like much later, but I think Maguire said, I think he saw his season flashing before his eyes and said, fuck that shit, I'm getting Payne Haas out there. And Payne Haas just switched everything over for us. Like, he came back on and just changed the game for us. It sucks that we drop off so much without Payne on the field, but fuck, I don't know what else I can say. At least we got the win, I guess.
He had 13 tackle busts,
mate.
Payne Haas, in 61 minutes.
He's an actual joke. And he was the one, I think, that started the Karapani try, if I recall. Like, he ran overs maybe and had a bit of fun. Yeah. Mate, he's just, without Payne Haas, like, this team it's not a top 8 side, I'll tell you that much. I mean, on paper it is, but not in the game. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, a bit of razzle-dazzle stuff from the Broncos, which was good to see. Obviously, we spoke about the try earlier in the can't miss moment. It was very, very good. Katoni Staggs playing some unreal footy at the
What
moment.
did the Dolphins ever do to that bloke?
I know.
He hates him.
Well, his last, every time he plays the Dolphins, obviously turns up. But his last, in fact, most of the year's been pretty good.
Yeah,
his
he's
last,
been good.
Month or so, outstanding. He was very impressive again in this one as well.
Very rare first and last try for Tony Staggs.
Oh, okay.
Did you back
He
it?
did it as well, funnily enough. 2 in 1 weekend.
Oh, okay.
He and Shibasaki were brilliant.
Yeah.
Like their work out of their own end, their yardage, I thought in particular, just getting the Broncos off to good set starts every single time, finding their front, quick play the balls. They were powerful, busting tackles. As a centre pairing, they were outstanding.
Yeah. Katoni Staggs, like, when he's on, fuck, he's a handful.
The battle he and Hammer had was outstanding.
The best. So I think Staggs is also a really good example of what Michael Maguire's been able to do, because I think he's probably playing, like, he might have had other years where he's had bigger highlights, but this is the most consistent I reckon he's played in maybe ever.
I just think you can tell the intent's different from Staggs. He's hungrier, I think. And I spoke about it in the preseason from like a Supercoach point of view, that I thought, okay, Madge coming in, I reckon Staggs, his runs might go up by 5%. Actually haven't jumped massively, but it's just the intent from him. I think you can see it's different. I think in defence as well, like he's having a red hot crack.
Yeah, and that's all you can ask. Like, as long as they're having a crack, that's all you can ask for. His combination with Walsh seems to be growing and growing and growing. Geez, that's a dangerous... To have a guy as powerful as Katoni Staggs to work with Reece Walsh's ball playing, it's a very, very good combination. First of all, how many head highs did we give away? Jesus Christ, what was with our tackle technique? That was our biggest Achilles heel, just the penalties we kept giving away. It was killing us, especially in the first half. Once we got rid of that, later in the second half, we got a bit of momentum and a bit of a roll on. We've already spoken about Reece Walsh, guys, so go back to the start for the Kayo Can't Miss. And in regards to the Karapani try, that is in Service of the Week, brought to you by Aspley Mazda earlier in the show. I will say, I think Paddy Carrigan looks a bit tired. I think he looks a bit fatigued. Understandably so. He's been carrying that forward pack with Payne Haas for like so many years. But he does seem like he looks like... He definitely doesn't have the same punch as he had maybe last year or whatever. And I just wonder if there's a way to be able to manage his... unfortunately, the Broncos aren't in a safe enough spot to do it.
Put it this way, if you were in a position where you could rest him, you would.
Absolutely.
He absolutely looks tired. And the minutes he's had to play all year, as he should be tired.
Mate, and the shit work he gets through. Yeah. Like, the hit-ups he takes is usually always a shit hit-up, like where they're screaming up out of the line with, play 2 or something nearly off his own line. So if they can find a way to just... I will say, obviously he's going to want to play for his country at the end of the year, but if they can find a way when he gets back to, delay his preseason return, I think that's going to be really important for him because, mate, how many years now has he been up for? Paddy Carrigan.
And you have a look at when he was actually playing as a prop through the middle. I'm looking just his there was a month straight where he played 70 minutes at prop.
Yeah, huge minutes.
Season. And that's in the midst of Origin and everything going on there. Yeah, we'll get to it later in the year, but just reckon there'd be a lot of clubs that'd be questioning their players internationals this year.
The problem is the NRL have asked, okay, boys, we need you to have 27 rounds. We've got Origin, we've got all this stuff. oh, by the way, we also need you to do all this international stuff because we're trying to grow the international game. At some point, you've got to realise these guys are not physical. Like, this is going to make them break down just crazy.
And you got every coach that's thinking, okay, well, November 1, I want to be back in the training.
Mate, because the thing is, like, you can bring someone back to preseason. It doesn't mean they're getting towed up. It can be working on their core strength. It can be strengthening certain parts of their bodies that usually have injuries or whatever. But if they're not in training all the time, like in the actual office, you know, they're going to be sitting around doing nothing most likely, or going for runs. But that's not the same as an actual trained professional guiding them through, this is what I need you to do, work on your body. We'll speak about it another time, but I'm a bit concerned about this tour. I think we're going to see at least 4 or 5 blokes just say, I'm not going.
If we have 4 or 5, I think that's a great result. I reckon it's going to be a stack, mate. Like, on top of the players they're going to pull out to go play for, Tonga, Samoa, whatever it might be, I think you're going to have a heap of them, and I get it from how long.
So what is it, a 4-week tour?
Yeah, it's 3 Saturdays on the trot, so it'll be a 4-week tour.
It's interesting. I think every player will want to be over there and be a part of this Ashes over in the UK. Like, what a tremendous trip and the opportunity to play for your country. Clubs will be in a very different boat pushing their players to sit it out.
So many dudes in this comp that are pushing surgeries back to the end of the year. Like, I think there'll be a lot of them that just won't have choices in it. And I think you're going to get some real smokies.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. But yeah, in regards to performance, like, which is a typical Broncos performance, it's just a matter of, can they just iron out some of the, I guess, errors and defensive reads? I said it last week, but I just, our edge back row, we're getting pretty desperate.
Goss is gone now as well, Gajewski.
Yeah, he's gone.
Peaker head knocks, is that why he's been out?
Suspended, I think. 2 or 3 weeks, so maybe suspension. Maybe one of them, maybe head knocks. Like, Ricky, again, just had these middle moments where he just kind of switched off or, certain things didn't happen, but hopefully he can keep working on his game. At least the effort's there. But yeah, anyone else stand out for you guys?
Nah, mate.
Basically it.
That's it. Okay, just quickly on the Dolphins. To be honest, I don't think there's much to talk about the Dolphins because I don't want to be harsh on them. I thought they were super brave. The fact that they were in this till their eyeballs all the way up to essentially the 65th, 70th minute, it's outstanding. Outside of South Sydney Rabbitohs, I would say they're the bravest team this year. I think they've got nothing to be ashamed about in this performance. I thought they gave absolutely everything they had. Like, watching a guy like Mark Nichols try to contain Haas, like shooting out of the line, just doing his best, was just a representation of what the Dolphins have been this year, where, like, guys that aren't necessarily top tier in their position, but they are just doing everything they can to go with them. And unfortunately, the Broncos just had a bit too much class. That's just what it was.
Even Southsea, you said there, mate. I think if I'm giving out a Dally M Bravery Award, I think I'm going to the Dolphins this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that much.
For them to even just be in the conversation of the top 8 right now, franchise that didn't exist 3 years ago with all the injuries they've had and everything, it's insane.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that much against it.
20-year-old halfback.
Yeah. They were brave. In regards to performances, I thought Jerry Marshall-King had one of his better games in quite a while. I thought he was really good. Obviously, the hammer, good. Then obviously some other misses, but mostly good. I was about to say.
Yeah.
I just think they're a better side with Trey Fuller in it.
Is this how they start next year, round 1?
I think so. And I think they spend the whole off-season getting Hammer to be a roving centre in attack.
And just get him to master that role.
Yeah, because, like, unfortunately, like, Hammer's been playing long enough where there are some games where he will take 20 hit-ups and run for 200 metres, but he's not going to do it for a long... He's just not going to do it. That's just not the type of player he is. He's basically... His body language, or at least his style of play, he says to the coaches, I'm a Ferrari, I will win you games, but I'm not bashing my body up which is fine, because not everyone has to be that. And so I just reckon in good ball, you just get him where you need to get him, and he will make those big plays. And then you put Fuller at the back, because Fuller was friggin' phenomenal on the weekend. He just gassed out.
Yeah, and you get him to study tapes of Tom Trbojevic from Origin. You get him to study, honestly, even recent weeks, Stephen Crichton, what he's been doing, the way he's been able to chime in essentially as a fullback whilst playing centre. It could be perfect for him, and it could be perfect, more to the point, for the Dolphins, of having Trey Fuller churning through these metres and offering a lot as well. You cannot afford to have him parked on an edge and not being utilised more and waiting for the ball to come to him. But he doesn't have to be. The role of the centre's changing. So Yeah, I mean, if Trey Fuller's going to continue playing footy like that, that's on return from an ACL injury. Obviously, he's played a bit of Q Cup. They can make it work.
Yeah, and even in Q Cup last few weeks, like he's been available for a few weeks. They had the option to play him about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and they decided, no, like we don't think he's quite ready for it yet. So really good to see Trey Fuller get back to that.
Yeah, mate, he is just like, he's as strong as an ant because for how tall he is, he bumps front rowers and shit. I don't understand it. How did it happen?
Yeah, I think the biggest one for Hammer, if he is going to play centre, honestly, just coming out of your own end, he just needs to support like a fullback and just be chiming in around the arc.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be moving too quick.
Just get the edge back roll to move out.
Yeah, because as soon as someone takes off and half busts the line or gets the arm free, that's where his strength is.
Yeah.
It's just give him an inch, he'll take a mile, he's away and gone. So if you get that out of him, then it can work.
Yeah.
Isn't Trey Fuller an amazing story? Like he made his debut in Q Cup in 2018. He's been playing, and from what I've heard, he just loves the area. He loves being up there, and there just happens to be an NRL team that's landed there.
Far out. I did see talk a few years ago, just from people that are fans of Q Cup, why hasn't Trey Fuller been given a crack, an opportunity? It's one of the most bizarre things ever. A guy with that much talent wasn't in an NRL system. It's just, it blows my mind. I don't like, what could it be? Because it's not ticker. It's not his heart. It's not his ability to have heaps of runs or whatever. He's just friggin' electric, honestly. And if anything, you could make the argument like the reason why the Dolphins couldn't go with the Broncos was because he just probably fatigued a little bit in the end there.
Yep.
But yeah, really, really brave from the Dolphins. I'm just excited to see them at full strength. Like, if round 21 next year you could have potentially Flegler, Gilbert, all the boys back, I'm excited.
Sounds like they got a positive update on Tom Flegler the other day, which...
So they're aiming for round 21 next year, hoping. So it's not locked in, but that's what they're aiming for.
Okay.
Yeah, so got a few approvals on certain things, but not like, okay, you're sweet, you're good to go. Just like everything's tracking on the right direction, at least to my understanding. Anything else on the Dolphins, boys?
All good, mate.
No.
Nope. Okay, on to the next game. Rabbitohs beat the Eels 20-16. Don't forget the Grumpy Coffee Father's Day sale and also discounted Bloke merch next Monday, 6 p.m. What a brave performance by the Eels. Like, to lose, when they lost to Latrell Mitchell, I was like, okay, Dunski's, game over. Obviously, Cody Walker came off the bench, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, I mean, geez, you could tell when he came on the field, just a totally different beast.
Wow.
What the hell? Just a reminder of who Cody Walker is and how much he means to that side. But for me personally, bro, there was a 10-minute period. I mean, it was the whole second half. There was a 10-minute period where Jai Gray might have had the two best try savers I've ever seen in my life. And if you're a young fella and people tell you, okay, listen, if you're small, you can only be that really good attacking player. You've got to be so good in attack, your defence is never going to really be up to the standard of a bigger fullback. Go watch Jai Gray. If you're willing to put your body on the line, if you're willing to put your head in places most blokes aren't, you can be a good defender, because those try savers towards the end, I think it was in the 32nd minute of the second half, and then right at the end he had another try saver. So 32nd minutes in the second half, so at the 8 minutes in, and then with 2 minutes 35 to go, he had another try saver. So if you went into a game and said Jai Gray is going to have two crazy try savers, you would say he's going to win the game with his tries that he scores. If you were going to tell me he was going to do it with try savers, I would say that's not his strength. It was his strengths on the weekend. It was absolutely phenomenal. Some of the best defence I've seen from just a fullback in general. Outstanding performance from Gray.
Yeah, he was fantastic. I don't know, we just spoke about Trey Fuller and him playing fullback and whatnot. I think South Sydney have got to get him in the side somewhere. I still think Wayne will lean towards having Latrell as his fullback next year, but I've been saying for a while that I think he can be the heir to Cody Walker. I'm starting to lean to next year, starting with Cody Walker and Jai Gray in the halves.
Okay.
I think
Humphrey at 9.
Humphreys at 9.
Yep.
Mamazellis maybe off the bench, depending on how you want to work with Humphreys. But I think you just have to get Jai Gray into the side somewhere. And I think that, like at Lumpet, to get the best out of Latrell Mitchell, who, Jai Gray is incredible, but Latrell Mitchell is...
Latrell Mitchell.
He's Latrell Mitchell. If they're going to win a comp, it's because of Latrell Mitchell. Let's be honest here. If he believes that's his best position he should be playing, I lean towards going down that avenue.
As in putting him at 6?
Putting Jai Gray at 6, yeah.
Yep.
He's been a 5'8" coming through. He's jumped in and played fullback, and he's done incredibly well. But I probably lean towards that being the avenue, personally.
Like, I guess the only thing you could argue is stopping him from 6 is people assuming that defensively he'll get spotted up. But, I mean, you're not going to know until you give him a crack, I guess.
Yeah, and look, with all due respect, those same people would have said he's too small to play fullback.
Yeah, yep, that's fair. That's fair. Another guy, so Jai Gray was phenomenal. And we were talking about his defence. He also had a try assist. He had 27 runs, 221 metres, 52 post contact, 6 tackle breaks, a line break assist. So outstanding. But the other guy, Tallis Duncan, mate, I'll be honest, when I said last year, he just needs to be given time and confidence to be able to be the best version of himself. I knew he'd be a good first grader. I didn't think he'd be this good. He is a weapon on the edge, an absolute weapon. Mate, he was phenomenal.
When you talk about guys that could be smokies for like an Ashes tour at the end of the year,
100%.
I think the only thing holding him back will be that they're not going to play finals footy, so he might not be front and centre. But mate, he's been incredible. Supercoach stats are, just part of it or whatever. But I had to look at his numbers. Like going into round 12, they had a bye. He was averaging 39 Supercoach points until that point. From round 12 onwards, he's averaged 79. It's like, that's insane. He's more than doubled his score. And for 3 or 4 of those games he's played out of position?
Yeah,
centre. Fuck, it's just crazy.
And he's
Absolutely
doing it
crazy.
in a side getting beaten most weeks. Like imagine if he was in like the Melbourne Storm or the Bulldogs or one of these top tier sides that are getting field position and dominating sides.
And for the first time in a while, you saw him last weekend with Cody Walker feeding him ball. He hasn't had a ball player like that as well.
Yeah, it's so true, mate. He is talented. As I said, I think we've all been Tallis Duncan's fans for years and years and years. But this good? Fuck, I didn't see that coming.
We got a glimpse into depends which way you want to look at it. The negative way is what could have been this year with people on deck. But if you think positively, what they could be next year. Wayne Bennett at the helm, and with their unbelievable injury toll this year, like the moment that Cody Walker came on the field and he made a line break pretty well as soon as he came on, and the bloke that threw him the ball was Cheese, Brandon Smith, who went deep in the line, squared it up for a really good ball. Cody went bang, bang and went through. And you just went, fire, this is Cheese just back from injury at a new club. Cody Walker back from a lengthy layoff out as well, playing off the bench. Parramatta have been really good. They got both a gritty win. On top of that, their 2 best players by a mile in this game were Jai Gray and Tallis Duncan, 2 blokes who were, fringes at the start of the year, essentially, coming in prior to injuries. And you go, all right, it sounds mad, but if they can keep this full team fit, they can contend for a premiership next year.
I'm with you, mate.
Whether or not they can do it, I don't know because of the amount of injuries they've had in recent years, but they've got the team to do it.
Them at full strength is going to be an absolute problem for teams next year. I just think at full strength, Cam Murray coming back into this side, like a back row of Duncan, Murray, Aitken. A front row of Keon, Arrow, Cheese. Like that forward pack is insane. We haven't even gotten to Trell, Cody Walker, Campbell Graham.
It's an unbelievable team.
Fucking unbelievable team. So,
and the one on top of it, it's Latrell Mitchell's body is just starting to fail him. Like just something new each and every week. And I just want nothing more. It's him and Tommy Turbo, where he's like, I just want to see these blokes put together a full season of fit to see not only what they can achieve, but what they can do for their team. Like. In recent years, he hasn't played more than 17 games in a season with the Rabbitohs across his 6 seasons. We know that, and he got back on deck, and then last minute this week he was gone again.
Yeah.
Just can't keep him on the field.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you'd almost just go, just try and get him as light as you can because there's a lot of soft tissues and like little twinges, and I wonder whether if you just strip him down as much as you can, that might reduce it potentially. Because unfortunately, Rabbitohs, they need him. If they're going to make anything, they need Trell going good.
Just frustrating because he stripped down a lot this season.
Yeah. Okay, now on to the Eels quickly. We'll be pretty quick with this, guys, because obviously it's not any bearing on the result at the end of the year. Good to see Lomax get over twice and basically be back to his form. Looked much more confident. 2 tries, 23 runs, 235 metres, 73 post contact, 4 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks. Now, obviously, his error count is always quite high because he goes 4 catches. I know there was one error that he probably could have sorted. But anyway, good to see him back in those numbers. I will say the Joash Papali'i Moses pairing, yes, it's very, very soon, and there's heaps of upside to it. I'm just not sure about that long term. as in Joash Papali'i at 6 rather than 1.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think he looks very uncomfortable there. I think that, comparing him to Blaze looks unorthodox. He doesn't look uncomfortable there to me. Joash, it just doesn't fit. I'm sure Timmy will suggest the same thing, but I'd be going to get Sandon Smith. I think they'd be perfect to pair up with Mitch Moses.
Yeah, 100% actually. That's a great call. It's a great shout. Man,
if you can't get him, go and get Hugo. Go and get one of them.
Yeah.
Smith and Mitchy Moses, that'd be a great combo.
Yeah.
Well, it's perfect combo because then you get Sinnott Smith to lean into his game, which is just a running game, and you get Moses to do everything. And look, it's super early. A full preseason, maybe he'll look a lot more comfortable there. So I don't want to. I'm not writing. I'm sure you're not either. I'm not writing Joash Papali'i off at all. It's just initial viewing of it. It just looks a little bit uncomfortable for him. He looks much more like a really good fullback. Because it just doesn't seem to be gelling as well. Like if anything, I think even Hawkins and Moses probably complement each other a little bit. Not complement each other, but like they play better together.
I'll be honest. I thought they'd keep Hawkins in this game. I was a little bit surprised when that happened. I think and I've questioned Hawkins over the last few years, but I think the last 5 or 6 weeks, I think he's just played his role well next to Mitch Moses. He's done well. What about Jack Williams, your boy?
Oh mate, what the hell?
Dalian back row of the year, Jack Williams. Quite good, isn't he?
Mate, he killed it.
What's TT like out there? Flying.
Mate, it's crazy.
He's playing so well.
When he came to the club, to Eels, obviously we're like, okay, yeah, good signing, gets in the senior playing group. Then he plays at the start of the year and you're sitting there going, yeah, I wouldn't say a toiler, but definitely not a guy that you're going to break games open with. He's getting through his work. But like this year, especially like the last month or whatever, like he's genuinely a game breaker for him.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And that's the thing, I've said it before, but getting opportunities to play on the edge and run these lines, for the Sharks for years and years and years, he was just a middle forward who more often than not came off the bench, often in some decent minutes, but like he played, growing up, he was a centre, and he was just this lightning quick, nimble outside bat, and he got bigger and bigger, got into sort of even the 20 system and all that at the Raiders, and more weight put on him, and he sort of just became this middle forward. They gave him, the odd opportunity on the edge in the Raiders, sort of lower systems, and had some trouble just with his ball handling at times. But he's always, like since he grew up, and obviously bodies change, your game changes, but he's always been a brilliant line running and like mobile edge back rower.
Yeah.
He's a big boy, but we're seeing this year, and credit to Jason Riles to go, no, like I can see this in you and the ability to play on the edge. He's killing it there.
No, going so well. And just quickly before we move on, Jesus, good to see Yongi back, mate. He is a fucking star. He is a star. Like the way he moves and he's just footwork in contact, his strength in contact, his ability to create. Sometimes he looks like a smaller version of RTS with the way he moves and takes kick returns, takes runs. Good to see him back. I can't wait to see his career develop. I think that if this is where he's at now, if he just keeps building on his game, far out he's going to be a problem. Just so good to see him back. But look, yeah, definitely a disappointing loss for the Eels. They've been going so well. So hopefully they can bounce back next week. Alrighty, on to the next game. Don't forget, guys, brought to you by Aussie Footy Shorts. Got still some pairs left on the website. Make sure to be there, guys. Grab some. Once they're gone, they're gone. Got tradie, bloke, camping bloke, fishing bloke, you name it. We got it. Grumpy Dad as well, so perfect for Father's Day. Okay, Tigers beat the Seagulls 26-12. Take it away, Hammy.
What a display. Never in doubt. No, look, to be honest with you, I think both sides not at their best in this one, but Manly just were probably, worse. So in the end, the Tigers, did enough to get the win, but again, not their best performance over the last couple of weeks. Started very slow as well. Kohler scored in the first minute. That was a little bit concerning, but look, Adam
Kohler.
Yeah,
Jesus
mate.
Christ.
How good's he going? Outrageous. So that was a little bit concerning off the bat. But, once we got into the grind, Adam Dewey again started at 7 in this game. I'm not too sure there's many players that have had a better kind of 6-week stretch, in the last 6 weeks at least, than him. Absolutely killed it. I thought he was outstanding. The May brothers, both of them, were awesome as well. But, big win in the end, 13+ job on the Manly Seagulls, ends their season. They were poor, disappointing, and I think there's big concerns for them. Red pen's gone through them for me for this season, but moving forward next season as well, I reckon they're in a bit of a spot of bother.
I think, look, I know people go, Manly didn't play that well or whatever. We're talking about a team that's won the Spoon 3 years in a row. Like, I think the Tigers sitting 11th right now, that's outstanding. You lost your main player in one of the most dramatic fashions in recent memory. Like, when's the last time we saw a story this big in rugby league? The Tigers have somehow, some way managed to pull it together, and you are sitting 6 places higher than last year? 5 or 6 places higher?
Yep.
Mate, I think it's great. Like, I know, as I said, I know people will try and wash this win away like, oh, you know, it's against Manly, are struggling. Bro, we're talking about the Tigers that won 3 spoons in a, like, if anyone, like, if anyone we should be having low standards for, respectfully, it should be the Tigers, not Manly. The Tigers are the one that tailed them up. I think it's a great win.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think Manly Seagulls, you know, going into this game, they were still in contention to play finals footy. For the Tigers to be having controlling victories over anyone in contention for finals footy, it's huge based on what we've seen in the last few years.
Massive.
Enormous.
Massive. Like, it just, maybe for Tigers fans because you're in it and you're so keen and confident that things will go well. But from just a non-biased point of view, like, and I say this respectfully, I don't expect the Tigers to come out and win games like that. I at the very least, I expect them, and it's to be a shit fight. Like, they win by 2 points in the end because someone dropped the ball or some shit. They came out and they were just substantially better than the Manly Seagulls. Like, substantially better.
Yeah, Hammy was very grim about that when he threw it. I mean, it's I was the same. I thought the Tigers were really good. This 77% completion, and this day game, dry footy, 2 p.m. Sunday, that is the Manly Warringah Seagulls. That is Tom Trbojevic.
Yeah.
That is their speed demons on the flanks. That's where they put on points. When Cole scored that early try, you went, all right, here we go.
Yep.
And straight away, they just deflected that and moved past it. And I thought it was a pretty controlled performance, Hammy.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were still some moments in that I definitely kind of, it wasn't all smooth sailing or as dominant as, say, the Dogs win, where I think, you know, we did a lot of things really well. There's still a few moments there where it felt like Tigers of old. You know, Appy gave away a penalty, passing the ball into the man, you know, sitting next to the ruck. And a few things like that, I was like, that's given them an opportunity to maybe come back and win the game, which was, you know, it wasn't as relaxed watching it as I was probably the Dogs game, where I thought we were in control a lot more of it. So both teams were pretty scrappy, would be my summation.
I would say that. So you knocked the Doggies off.
Yep.
Manly.
Yep.
Who else in the last 4 to 5 weeks?
Prior to that, we won a game at Leica. We had the Titans, beat them by a point.
Titans? Yep.
We just went down. Panthers tailed us up. We've won 4 of the last 6. So Chookies, we beat as well at the same venue.
I mean, like Chookies, Bulldogs, Manly. It's fucking pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I know, as I said, I know people are going to want to, Manly fucking terrible, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's still a gun side with gun players and playing for their season. And also, like, I think it drives home the fact, mate, Manly's forward pack needs a complete reset button. Like, the fact that, and again, I say this respectfully, the fact they got so dominated by the Tigers forward pack, who is essentially led by Terrell May with some solid players in it, that's concerning for Manly that they got that dominated. I don't know where Manly go from here. I know that, you know, Manly fans are probably going to look towards DCE and focus their attention in on him as the reason why they lost. And granted, DCE was quite poor and has been quite poor. But my biggest concern is just that forward pack has been a worry for a while now, and it's definitely not getting better, that's for sure.
And I mean, you'll get Paseka back, which will help.
Yep.
But Paseka's not paying Haas. Like, he's a good, solid first grader.
He's
He'll
had
make a difference.
He's had a lot of he's had a lot of solid years with maybe 1.5 good years. Paseka.
Yeah.
Like, there's a very real chance he has a solid year next year, not a good year.
He's not going to turn them into this Manly top 4 side that was promised with all these strike weapons. Like, he'll help.
Yep.
Maybe this year, had he played the whole year, maybe they do finish 7th or 8th, but it's not going to turn everything for them.
But I think it does say a lot about the Manly pack, how much we know he does influence it. Like, without him, they do look completely different, which I think just says a lot about the pack that they have got there.
For what it's worth, with Cherry Evans, who has been quite poor of late, I thought he gave everything in this. His execution was just off. Like, he didn't play well, but I thought he tried his ass off.
This shows you the difference in I guess, across the board. 577 post-contact meters compared to 387. That is worrying. Like, that, it's that's really concerning. Then obviously 1,788 run meters compared to 1,400 run meters. And just the fact that completion rate, like, was so low, the amount of errors Manly had. I guess some Manly fans might be thinking, we get rid of DCE and we're going to be fine. I think the problems are deeper than DCE at this club. I think there are a lot of problems. I think you don't know who his coach is going to be. It might be Seabold, might not be. You've got factions in the club. They've got the Jake Trbojevic situation that's happening. NRL physio reporting that he may not play a game again this year for resting. You've got the Tommy Turbo extension. What happens there? I just feel like there is a lot of problems that are deeper than just DCE. DCE is just the result of all these undercurrents.
Also, for all of those calling out, Cherry Evans, yeah, sure, look, the season hasn't gone to plan and it has been really disappointing, and as is his form. You're also losing, if you're sitting there saying, all right, when Ches goes, we get a sort of fresh start and a new halfback coming in, things will be better. Cherry Evans has been, one of the best halfbacks of his generation, if not the best. Post Thurston era, and Nathan Cleary's still got plenty to go in his legs, but you're losing one of the best halfbacks we've seen in the last 10 years. So sure, this year's been disappointing, but he's done a lot of good for you as well. And to your point, Campy, there's a lot more going wrong at this club than
just
Cherry
DCE.
Evans.
And also, again, it's the easy out of going, let's blame it all on DCE. Ask yourself, why did DCE do what he did? You know what I mean? You've got, CEOs coming out saying, yep, Seabold's okay for now. And then you've got, factions in the club where they want to, there's just so much shit going on. And I get it. Being a guy that didn't grow up with Manly, I don't understand. There almost is a culture of infighting at Manly, bizarrely. But, I just don't know whether they're ever going to be able to have success until they have a strong enough senior playing group. Because that's what used to make Manly so good, is they had one of the strongest senior playing groups in the competition. And even though they had no resources, no money put behind them, they had all these old school changing rooms, they had a senior playing group that demanded excellence. Who's their senior, when DCE goes, who's their senior playing group other than Jake Trbojevic, Tom Trbojevic?
Yeah.
It's
There's nothing doing. Yeah.
Jake, they might not even re-sign at the club. Maybe they will, but I'm sure Manly are probably sitting there going, okay, Jakey Turbo's had a head knock. What's going on with that? We don't even know how the Trbojevic situation is going to pan out. There might be people in the club that say, why do we re-sign them? Again, I know it sounds crazy, but crazier things have happened in rugby league. So I just think there's a lot of problems at this club. I think that for too long they've just kind of allowed them to, just because there have been so many years there has been problems, they've just assumed that they'll fix themselves like they do in other years. But what has fixed them has been DCE's crazy form or Tom Trbojevic's crazy form. Hopefully Tommy can be back at that next year, but DCE's gone. So I just reckon there's a lot bigger problems at the club than just DCE at the moment. But in regards to the West Tigers, Taylor May are just a reminder of when he goes away and whatever happens, comes back and just reminds you there was a reason why he was probably the most highly touted outside back at the Penrith Panthers for a very long time.
He was fantastic, wasn't he? Obviously he's had his troubles and whatnot, sit where you want on that, but just on field, he is just incredible. He is so hard to handle. He's one of those guys that you just give him early football. Just let him go.
He's a talent. I wouldn't say the perfect footy player, but when it comes to outside backs, he's just got everything.
He's devastating.
Yeah, far out.
I know it wasn't that long ago that he was starting at the Panthers, but I just remember him as such a strong ball running centre, but for his time out of the game, even just his hands, his tip on become so soft, his hands, he is devastating at the moment.
Imagine with the whole preseason under his belt heading into next year.
Yeah, absolutely. He was so quick off the mark yesterday. They ran that great line to get through and score that try.
Yep.
And his defence has been so good as well since he's come back in. Just hits so hard and very exciting prospect. Hopefully we can keep him around for a while more.
I've got to say as well, even watching Terrell May, midway through the year, there was a part of me that's he's going to conk out. He's going to get to about, round 18, 19, and we're going to see this just dramatic drop. And I was sitting there going, and I'd get it. I wouldn't even hold it against him because of how he's played. The fact that he's still putting in these shifts, very rarely can a front rower do what he's doing for as long as he's doing it if your name's not Payne Haas.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, it really is crazy, isn't it? And it was about 4 or 5 weeks ago. He had his first spell in the first half. They took him off for the first time, and I thought, okay, this might be it.
Yep.
And he's just flown ever since.
They're just, that May family, just athletes. Seriously, it's just incredible. So really, do we? I'm still in the group of people that would say I'm not all in on Fainu is locked into that partner with Luai. Like, I still think that there's a world where you go into next year with a Dewey-Luai partnership with Fainu coming off the bench. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts?
I think that is definitely an option as well. I think they'll definitely give the Latu and Luai thing as much of a chance as they can, probably through the preseason, and try some stuff out. But it's kind of been working with, Dewey starting at 7, and then you kind of slip Latu on there, and, Dewey goes one wider off the ruck. It's been, I don't know, it's not perfect. It's a little bit messy and clunky, but for whatever reason, it is working. So I wouldn't be surprised to potentially see that happen, what you've just said, 7 for Dewey, 6 for Luai, and then a bit of impact from Latu off the bench.
Like, obviously in the preseason, if Latu's killing it, give him that spot. But I just think this idea that because Benji essentially has said he has that jersey, and I get the whole confidence thing, I really do. But I just think you're a much better side with Dewey starting in a key position. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a huge Latu fan. I still think he's got a huge future, but the form's undeniable.
Yeah.
They look better, they play better, they are better when Dewey's in there, and when he's playing the sort of footy he's playing at the moment, there's no point holding him back.
And I feel like Luai is starting to get his timing off Dewey now. And I thought it was one of Luai's better games on the weekend.
Agree.
And I feel like the more they play together, the more Luai's going to understand when he can inject himself and not, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of his best games for the Tigers yesterday as well. Thought he was good. Someone else just wanted to very quickly wrap Alex Twile.
Oh, yeah.
Twile Yarns. 34 tackles, none missed. Ever since they gave him the big C earlier in the year when a few guys were out, he's obviously 1 from 1 as a captain.
Yeah.
But since then, he's been really good.
Yeah.
Not only as far as one of the best Tigers, but he could probably hold his head up as one of the most consistent kind of middle forwards in the comp for the last.
His defence has been so good for so long.
Yeah.
I actually think it's his attack this year, his ball running that's gotten much better.
Yep. Agree. Yep.
I'll never forget when they were like, oh yeah, we're releasing Twal, and we were all sitting there going, what? He's the one guy you sign in situations like this. He's a battler. He turns up every day, gives you 7.5 out of 10. And I think that they probably will be stoked with their decision to keep him because he's been so important.
Agree.
With the way they've gone. Anyone else with the Tigers, boys?
That sums
Pretty
up
much
well.
it.
Yeah, all good.
I'm just look. I thought Samuela had some big moments. Both brothers on the edges were actually quite strong.
I like Lucas Sione on the other side. Seifarth's been there most of the year, but obviously out for the next couple of weeks. So I really like the look of Sione in there. How that wasn't a penalty at least, if not a penalty try.
What was that? What was with that? So if you're going for the ball, you can coat hanger someone.
Apparently. That's what we're taking out of that one. So.
I don't get that. Like, he goes, clearing the head contact. I'm like, clearing the head contact? He literally coat
What are
hanging.
we talking about?
It's like if you head hide someone in a tackle. No, I was going for the ball ref.
Bizarre.
You know what I mean? I'm going for the ball ref, so it doesn't matter. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What a strange fucking
Terrible.
thing.
There was a few weird ones in this one. There was also the Taylor May try where Tommy Turbo sort of caught out and Fino was in front of him and it was like, is it an obstruction, is it not? A few odd things going on.
I could have lived with that if they said that was obstruction.
I could
It was
have
very
too.
unique.
It was very unique.
But you can see where it confused Turbo.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think Turbo was getting him anyway.
Nah.
Him hitting that. But anyway, I will say it's probably the first week for the Tigers that both edge back rowers have run for more than 120 metres, and it's actually one area where your edge back rowers don't usually actually get through that much meterage. So Seifarth is there sometimes. He very rarely runs over 100 metres. Samuela at his best does.
Yep.
But the fact that you had both, that's really, really good for your forward pack.
Very good. And Kai Pearce-Paul coming in next year as well to round that rotation out, which is nice.
I wonder, could you play Sione at 13? Could you give, because if he's got enough hands for edge, what would he like to be at 13, you reckon?
I think he could handle it.
Yeah?
And then you'd only play him for the first 30 minutes and you'd get Latu onto that role, right?
Yeah, and then maybe move Twal into the middle. Anyway, just a thought.
They also signed Ethan Roberts this week, who's junior at the Roosters, who's got a lot of upside to him. There's just a lot of mouths to feed at the Roosters. He's another one that I'm not super confident, but if it all works out for him, got a lot of upside. Could be a very good player.
Okay, now onto the Manly Seagulls. We've already kind of spoken about it, but yeah, it's just really, really concerning going forward. I look at this forward pack, who's joining this forward pack next year? Maybe some young guys, but have anyone been absolutely brain in Rezzies?
No.
Going into a whole new season with a forward pack that's the same is quite concerning.
Yeah, it just feels like, granted, Jamal Fogarty comes in, so when you halfback change, there will be new things, but you just feel like we're going to get 12 months on, it'll be rinse and repeat, and Manly be sort of fighting for that top 8 spot. They'll be relying on Tommy Turbo to be fit. Their forward pack will be lacking a bit of punch. It said, like, half-back aside, which is substantial, does much change.
Yeah, that's what I like. You know, maybe Fogarty is they just need a conservative 7. Like, that's maybe the thing that they need. But I just look at that forward pack. I just don't know. I feel like, is this forward pack getting better? I don't know.
No.
Well, I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
Okay, on to the next game. In the final game, mate, this brought the crowd back. Cowboys against the Knights. We won't spend that long on this, guys, because we'll just be repeating ourselves. But this is what the Cowboys can do. And yep, McLean was back, which is a big in for them. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, if they had their forwards back, they would have gone much better. But they looked good on the weekend. That was a really good win for them. They dominated from the start. I think, what was it, 20-0 first half, 26-0 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Scotty Drinkwater at his best, you know, doing his damn thing. Knights just look like they've packed her up. They're done for the year.
Yeah, I loved watching Drinky yesterday. The way that he sort of disguises himself sort of behind Tom did, and then he comes out late. He just creates space all over the place. Valia's first game back in a while. I think he's had a foot injury. I thought he did some nice things. And there's 2 players this weekend that had 13 tackle breaks. Payne Haas and... Correct, Braden Burns.
Oh, okay.
My boy. Flying.
Braden Burns, eh? Mate, Scotty Drinkwater. Attacking-wise, you know, you'd struggle to find many better attacking fullbacks, like with ball in hand and the way he moves and everything. He's silky.
On his day, he's arguably best player to watch in the comp, I reckon.
Yeah,
right up there.
Him and Walshy.
You get a dry track up there in North Queensland, Sunday Arvo, when they're firing.
Has there been a game more designed for Scott Drinkwater? Just like dry conditions in Townsville, day game into side who's thrown in the towel. Like, he was never not going to carve this up.
Mate, outstanding. Cowboys situation. I guess getting the fair dinkum to partner again, boys. Toddy Payton, would you stick with him another year? Give him till round 10 next year?
No, I would make a move only because Josh Hannay is available. Seems to be the next guy. I think it'd be a good fit. I think it just makes sense.
If Hannay isn't available, would you go someone else or would you give Payton another?
If Hannay is not available, I'm not sure who else you'd go to. So I'd probably stick with Todd. But I just think because there's an alignment with Hannay, with the Cowboys previously, I'd probably make the move before someone else does.
Yeah, if Hannay is not available, I'd stick with Payton. Like, it's been bad this year, but, you know, they've played some good footy in recent years. They've played some finals footy. I think they have some defensive issues that they clearly need to work out, which is not unachievable. They need to tweak their defensive systems. But as I said, just because of probably the lack of coaches available, I'd stick. I'd give him that first part of next season, put it that way.
Hannay available, I'd make the change. If not, might still have to make a change, to be honest.
Yeah, okay.
And figure out who's out there. It just feels like they need a bit of a new
fresh start.
Breath of fresh air.
I think the biggest thing working against Toddy Payton is outside of his first year, defence has been an issue. And like that's if they had years where like, let's say the first year, defence was good, second year, defence poor, third year, defence good. It was like up and down like that. I actually wouldn't even get Hannay in because I'd be like, listen, he knows how to do it. He just got to make it click. The concern I have is like with him as head coach for 5 years now, outside of 1 year, the defence has always been a big concern and he hasn't managed to fix that. And that's my worry.
That's why I just think it comes so much back to the playing group and has he lost the change room or not? Because if the players are there and they're backing Todd Payton, I'm happy for him to stay because your coaching staff, as you know all too well, Kempy, is so much more than one person and the head figure. Like, you cut the head off the snake and you get rid of Todd Payton. I don't think your defensive systems change that much. You can quite easily find one of the best defensive coaches in the NRL and bring them into the system and change that. You don't need to lose your head coach if the playing group are on board with him. Change your defensive coaches because I don't think your new head coach is going to change that too substantially.
Unless he is, like, that's his MO. He's the
of
best
course,
defense.
yeah. And like, as I said, if the playing group are happy with Todd Payton, then I think you stick with him. If he has lost the change room and, you know, there is some, you know, disputes going on internally, we'll get rid of him. But, like, we don't know that.
I would say, like, do they play like a team that's fully on board with Toddy Payton? I don't think they do.
No, they don't, but...
We just don't know for sure. The tough thing for Toddy is, was it 3 out of the 5 years they've made finals footy?
I think so. It's been sort of on-off,
At least two.
And also they made second week of the finals twice or once. Prelim. You know, so like, it's a tough one. You know, it's not as when you look at just this
You
year.
could do so much worse.
Yeah, exactly. And when you look at just this year, you would say, yeah, 100% sack him. But like his body of work, like he took him from bloody essentially last to a top 8 side. I think the other thing that works against him is just the roster he's got. You know, if he had a roster that wasn't as strong on paper, I think you'd go, listen, you know, he's moved them from 14th to where they are now.
It's hard though, like he's got a flashy attacking squad. We know they've always had points in them, and this roster doesn't have those issues, but it's defensive issues. And I think there are players in there who we know they can attack, but particularly just their edge defences, it's been an issue for a long time for them. And I think there needs to be some personnel change in the team with more of a defence-minded approach, because as long as you've got Scott Drinkwater there, Tom Dearden there, Jeremiah Nanai, you're going to have points.
Yeah.
I wonder if just bringing in Reid Marnie, and look, I'd rather have Reece Robson, don't get me wrong, but I just that defensive mindset.
Like in pre-season
like
at
a little
training.
bit of a more aggressive sort of,
Yeah.
if you're going to have an influence on them.
Yep. Okay, quickly on the Knights, and then we'll do Face of Music. Another guy massively under pressure. Me personally, like I'm unsure about the Payton one, but for Adam O'Brien, I actually probably would move on from Adam O'Brien. I just think that although they have made the finals, they've never really looked like, you know, firing a shot in any of these final series. What I will say is he deserves massive credit for taking them a non-final side to make him one. But I just think that with some of these decisions he makes, I feel like they've made the finals in spite of team selection. And it's gotten to the point now where the selections have just made it so impossible for them to build any combination, do anything like that, and I know he's probably going to get given an opportunity with Dylan Brown at the club, but for me personally, I just think it's a bit far gone. I can't see this playing group turning around next year and going, yep, we're good to go under Adam O'Brien.
Completely agree. And I think between Cowboys, Knights, Titans, like they're all sort of on the edge of moving on to coach. Like, be the first one to pull the trigger
and
so
get the best
first
guy.
choice. Get the guy you want, not the guy that's left over. Is what I would go for. It'll be interesting. Like if either of these sides change their coach at the end of the season, I think these are the two teams playing each other in Las Vegas next year. New coach coming in, that'll be an experience. First up, taking your team over to Vegas.
Oh fuck! Could you imagine rookie coach having to deal with all that? What do you reckon, Timmy?
It's so funny, like comparatively the Cowboys and Payton to O'Brien and the Knights, because
100%.
it's just a complete opposite issue.
Yeah.
The Knights, granted their defence has fallen off a cliff the last month, but as you said, I think they've got their tickets booked to Bali. But their defence for the most part of this year has been good, but like their attacking concerns, like last year they finished 8th, but their attack, they had the second worst attack in the comp they covered the Tigers who finished last by like 7 points. This year, they're scoring 14 points per game. They've scored 300 points in 21 games. The next worst attack to that is the Eels with 380. They've scored 80 points more. Like, it's a substantial difference. And again, I just said about Payton, like, if the playing group are there for O'Brien and whatnot, all right, find some better attacking coaches or someone that can have more of an influence at the club. But the Knights do look like a team to me who, are they playing for O'Brien? It doesn't look like it.
Well, the thing with the Cowboys, at least, the reason why I'm more on the fence with the Cowboys than the Knights is, they actually have had years where they've looked like, oh shit, premiership threat. Now, it's not every single year, but there have been years where you've gone, I mean, against Para, one play goes their way, they make the grand final that year against Penrith. And so they've actually looked like a real deal. That's why I'm a bit on the fence with. Whereas with the Knights, like I look at this playing group, with Cowboys, every now and then they have a game like they did in the weekend. So you can go, okay, maybe they are playing for him. Whereas at the moment, like, they do not like when their season was on the line, they didn't look like a team that was playing for Adam O'Brien. Like on the weekend against the Penrith Panthers, granted it is the Penrith Panthers and they hung in there, but they got, dominated. Does
it not just feel like, to Rue's point, if you just make the call and get first dibs on the coach, in NRL style, doesn't just feel like one domino will fall and then there'll just be like a chain reaction and just shit will go into overdrive?
The way I would say, if I was, and this is not the only thing you'd be putting into your thoughts when you're looking at, as your CEO of the Knights or whatever, But let's say they did bring a rookie coach in. Do you reckon there would be, and they didn't make the 8 next year, do you reckon a lot of people would say, oh, we should have kept Adam O'Brien?
No way.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm struggling to see how this roster, which is just next year, come in and go, you know what, he's our man. Let's get behind him.
Yeah, my only counter to that is that I think that if they go with a new coach, everyone will be willing to give him time. I think that if it doesn't go well, though, I think a lot of fans would jump down Dylan Brown's throat immediately.
Fair.
Which is
That's
the one reason why I would consider keeping Adam O'Brien.
Take a bit of heat.
Because if it all goes to shit, you got to change something. You're probably not going to change the guy with 9 years and 8 months left on his contract.
It's a great point because if you're a rookie coach, the last thing you want to do is walk into a roster that just signed a bloke for 10 years.
Yep.
Because you didn't even sign him. So if you've got your options in front of you, you're going, mate, I'm not taking the roster that has this dude in the halves for the next 10 years, even though you might fully rate him, but you didn't make that call. And I'm pretty sure most rookie coaches wouldn't sign a guy on 10 years. Jeez, it's a tough one. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is.
I don't know if they'd want to hand the keys over to him or not, but you've obviously got, both of Brad Arthur's boys there. He got some bloody good footy out of Dill Brown. I'd argue the best footy out of him. I don't know. Is he over at Leeds at the moment?
Yeah, I think he might have just extended there potentially as well.
That's the hard thing. It's all good and well to sack a coach, but you've got to bring someone better in.
Yeah. Yeah, look, me personally, I'd probably make the decision to move on. However, I'm not like 100% in that camp. I'm not conviction. Like, for example, with Desi, gone. Like, he would have been gone weeks and weeks ago for me. Whereas this one, I'm like, yeah, probably. And then the Peyton one, I'm like, I don't really know. So, like, there are different levels of certainty with that kind of decision.
And as you said, if you are a new coach coming into this side, like Jason Ryles walking to Parramatta, okay, I've got Mitch Moses, I build around him. I look at Newcastle, I'm like, okay, I've got Kalen, but I've also got this contract to Dill Brown.
And Pong is going after his next contract. It's pretty obvious.
Agree.
There's no way he's staying.
So it's Dill Brown you're building around realistically. I'm losing my alpha front row forward. I'm losing Kai Pearce-Paul on the edge. Jaden Brayley's going.
Brayley's going, but also
Leo Thompson's
gone. Oh, I can't believe it. Adam Elliott's going.
Yes, yeah.
I don't think Adam's confirmed, is it?
Oh, they just said that he can leave.
I think they've said he can look around.
Fair enough.
But
yeah, look, tough day. Tough time to debut as a young fella because they didn't really, it's tough. What I would say to Knights fans, don't judge him on that. Like if you're an outside back and you're a young fella coming in, you usually need your forward pack to be winning to have a good game. And like you could say, oh, he dropped this or whatever. Just be patient with young guys like this. It's a tough time to come in.
The beauty of Knights fans is that they're all big enough nuts that they would have watched Cup and Flegg.
Yeah.
And they'd know how good he is.
And they're loyal
It's
fans.
going to take time.
They're the most loyal fans in rugby league, seriously.
And I think he actually got that one right, Adam O'Brien. I think we touched on it last week where you're going, all right, Gago's been playing fullback and he's been going really well, but long term, even like next year's your backup fullback when there's Sharp and there's Ponga, it's just not achieving much. So look, Vitano, bit of a barrier for debut, but as you said, Roo, killing it in Cup, big bright future ahead, and that'll be fine. I'm glad he gave him a crack.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I do think it's good for Adam O'Brien to give him a crack, and as I said, like you can tell there's talent with this kid. You really can. So don't focus too much on this debut.
He also, to his credit, it wasn't the greatest game. If he would have caught those 2 balls, he forced 2 tries on debut.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
So
it's probably worse on the surface than what it seemed.
Yeah. Okay, that's us done and doosted. Time for Face the Music, brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet.
3 rounds to go, a bit of moving and shaking to do for some of us in particular. First game Thursday night at South Sydney, $2. Host the St. George Illawarra Dragons, $1.83, 1.5 points the line, this one.
Sorry, give me 2 secs. So Trell's back, Cody Walker's back. Ooh, okay.
Weird betting market here, considering Dragons are going to be without 3 forwards.
I'm going to go Rabbitohs 1 to 12.
320.
I'm going to go Bunnies 13 plus.
Ooh,
Bunnies 13 plus.
I'll go South with the 1.5 start.
Bunnies 13 plus for me as well, 460.
He's trying to defend a lead, and
he's been like that for 10 weeks. He just does lines. So, I get the shit for going head to head. It's unbelievable.
I don't go anything under $1.90. It's pick 'em.
And you only go $1.90.
Well, I'm winning, so.
Good point. Greatest regional game and potentially greatest...
Hey, let's just hang on a sec. When I was winning doing head to head and I said I'm winning, you guys are still fucking shit. But when he says it, it's fine.
Yeah, he's doing lines, nice and brave.
He's having a crack.
2
to 1 shot.
$1.20, $1.19 head-to-head shots.
Unbelievable stuff.
Anyway, greatest 6 p.m. game potentially of all time. Panthers $1.62 in Mudgee. They're the home side. The Raiders $2.30. 2.5 is the line in this one.
Panthers notoriously don't like Mudgee, if I recall
Or
correctly.
just being in regional.
I feel like
New South
Bathurst.
Wales.
Is it Bathurst?
has been
Bathurst
their
is
deal.
where-
Yeah, I don't think they've ever played in Mudgee.
Okay. So just country.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll go Raiders head to head.
2.30.
Now, one of the great Friday nights I think we've seen in years.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get 2 blockbusters. I think we're going to get 2 golden points.
Oh fuck! You know what's funny is I was going to go, if you just went golden point for every game for the rest of the year, you'd probably get more because you
Jag
win.
something.
You jag at least 2 games for every game. So that's like $20.
I'm going to take both these games to go to golden point, just so you know. So golden point for this one for me.
That's great.
Oh my god!
Just give me a second. Okay, yeah, 13
Probably
bucks.
short on the odds after I cleaned you up last week.
13 bucks. All right,
Panthers 1 to 12.
275.
Timmy, what are you doing?
Well, I've got a second last position to maintain.
Raiders with the start.
Yep. Green Machine 13 plus 580.
Okay.
Yep. Next game, not a bad game either. This one, to be honest. Storm $1.44. Doggies $2.86. 7.5 points is the line.
I'll go Bulldogs 13 plus $8.
Oh, okay.
I'm swinging for the fences here.
Yep.
Golden point.
15 bucks.
I'll go Dogs with the start.
I'll go Storm minus the start.
I do think we need to introduce a golden point rule though, because you really could just say golden point for every game and probably end up top.
There's
I reckon.
been like 3 this year.
Yeah, but you could. I reckon just
Do it then.
just go. You're only allowed 1 golden point per round.
All right, well, you want it for this game or the?
No, you can do. You got in before the rule
Okay.
change. You got in before the
All
rule
right.
change.
Yep. Fair. I'm going Storm 13 plus anyway.
It's a bit scared to squat.
Yeah, I'm very
Looking
scared.
over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Forget your rules.
Mate,
Rattled.
we didn't do a golden point all year long because we didn't know we could do it. You're the one that changed it last week. And look, you're a loophole guy. You're just like Harry Grant taking dives in front of Leota.
Pioneers change rules. That's what happens.
What a quote.
What the fuck? Why don't you fucking make out with him? What the hell? That's disgusting. Oh my God. Fuck, first you're doing his work for him, getting stats up. Now you're bloody calling a pioneer. That is unbelievable.
He's paying me under the table.
That's why he's on the bottom of the fucking ladder, because he's fucking sucking up to him.
Second bottom.
Oh, who cares, man?
Everyone's got their ones in for that game? Yep.
What are you doing?
Storm 13 plus, 260. Manly, $1.78, hosted Dolphins, $2.08. 1.5 points is the line. 3 p.m. Saturday.
I'm going to go Dolphins head dead.
$2.08, yep.
Give me Dolphins 13 plus.
Yep, $4.60.
I'll go Manly to cover.
Manly head to head.
Dolphins 13 plus, $4.60 for me as well. Titans, $2.29. Host the Warriors, $1.63. 3.5 points to the line, 5:30 on Saturday.
Warriors 1 to 12.
$2.90.
Titans 1 to 12.
$3.40.
Warriors to cover.
Yep.
Warriors to cover.
Warriors to cover for me as well. Then we got the Eels, $3.20. Host the Roosters, $1.35. 9.5 is the line. 7:30 Saturday.
Roosters minus 9.5.
Yep.
I'll take Eels plus 9.5.
Yep.
Roosters to cover.
Roosters to cover.
Eels head to head. Needed to keep the Tiger season alive. More of a hopeful one there. Newcastle, $3.22. The Broncos, this one's in your ballpark. Kempy, $1.35. 9.5 is the line.
Broncos minus 9.5.
I will take Knights 1 to 12.
$4.20.
Broncos to cover.
That's the right bet.
Broncos to cover.
Broncos 13 plus, $2.18. To bring us home, at the 8th, Tigers $1.66. The Cowboys $2.23. 2.5 points is the line.
Cowboys 13 plus.
What about
Oh my
Staff and
God.
Towel being ruled out of this
Just spiteful stuff. $5.30.
I will take Tigers 13 plus.
3.15.
Tigers 13 plus.
Tigers head to head.
That's a bad bet.
Tigers 13 plus,
That's a
$3.15.
bad bet
We've just
by
won
you
2
guys.
games in a row, 13 plus.
Oh my
And well rested, had a
God.
buy in there as well.
That is shit punning, seriously.
You said that last week and they won and paid, what, $6.20 for
No,
us,
I didn't
was it?
say it about Tigers, mate.
Yes, you did.
Oh, did I? Oh, wow. Don't hold on to it or anything. Oh, well, let's face the music.
Yeah, it
Brought
is.
to you by his anger.
Yeah.
You just got to speak to me if you feel that way, mate. You know, just
No, I
let it
thought
out.
I'd save it until the last segment of the following week's show.
You can make a quick exit out the back door now.
Oh, that's brought to you by our friends over at Sports Better. Thank you as always for partnering with the show. Give us a follow on the feed. I'm sure there's going to be some awesome multis coming up into Finals Footy too, guys. As usual, anything else going on, boys?
SC Playbook EPL, mate.
Boom.
If you like your soccer,
Get into it.
football, whatever you want to call it,
Yep.
get on board.
Alrighty, there you go. We'll go.
And win, learn or draw. People who missed out on a hat first time around, I'll be keeping your eyes peeled at this week's show. Coming out at 6 a.m. tomorrow for you early jackbirds out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. Alrighty, we'll go fuck ourselves. Thank you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.